एवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्यति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे शांति मंत्र ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांति। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you in today's session. So we are continuing our discussion from Sri Ishopanishad, and in today's session we wish to cover the rest of the part of the Ishopanishad, which is mantra 14 to 18. So in today's session we might go a little bit late, for 2.5 hours or so. 2 hours usually we have, but today we will complete this section, so I might extend up to 2.5 hours. Okay, so this is the last section now that we are coming to Sri Ishopanishad. I'm just sharing the screen. See, Ishopanishad's overview, you remember, we talked about introduction where Prabhupada spoke about the Vedas, Shabda Praman, and in invocation we spoke about that Ishvara, how everything is complete. So, in the first section, Ishavasya principle is spoken, where we talked about proprietorship and the laws of God. Uh, we talked about how one should live a life of Ishavasya principle, which means one recognizes that Lord is the proprietor, so I accept what is my quota and I don't encroach upon others' quota. So living like this, then the great benefit of living like this is mentioned in text 2. Na karma lipyate nare. One becomes completely freed from the bondage of karma and one becomes qualified for liberation. If one does not follow this principle, then what happens? That is spoken in verse 3. Then one gets bound up in the darkest places. Asuryanamate lokam dhena tamasavrita. So after death, one goes there. Pritya, kanste pritya abhigachanti. So one achieves such places after giving up the body, and one continues to suffer in the material world. So this recognition of Ishavasya principle, this is done in paths such as Bhakti, paths such as Nishkama Karma Yoga also. These paths recognize the aspect of Ishavasya. But especially the path of Bhakti is the highest in that. So having recognized that, then who is that Ishvara is the next section. How do I know that Ishvara? Who is that Ishvara? So knowing the Ishvara, that's the next section. And in that we talked about how if one wants to know about that Supreme Lord, the Ishvara or Parameshvara. So then one first has to recognize that he is Achintya. And because he is Achintya, so one can only understand him by his mercy through the Shastras, through the scriptures, by following the process mentioned in the scriptures. So that Achintyatva, inconceivability, was spoken in verses 4 and 5, where we talked about how Lord is he's full of contradictory qualities, walking and not walking, being nearby and being at the greatest distance, and although he's at one place, he travels faster than everyone. So all those. So then what is the way to see Ishvara? The way is shown by the Mahabhagavata, the spiritual vision. How does a Mahabhagavat see? Uh, so then Kanishtha, Madhyama, Uttama, those categories are analyzed very nicely by Prabhupada. And then how an Uttamadhikari or a Madhyamadhikari has such a spiritual vision where one sees everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. Ekatvam anupashyataha. One sees Lord and his energies and sees that oneness and also the difference. That's the vision, actually. That's the vision of oneness as understood by the devotee. It is not that we and Lord are one and the same. No, we are simultaneously one and different from the Lord. We are one in quality, but obviously much, much lesser in quantity. So Lord is Vibhu, we are Anu. He is greatest, we are the smallest. But that quality of being spiritual particle, that's the perfect understanding. So with that spiritual vision, how Mahabhagavat understands the Ishvara, all his qualities are mentioned in the text 8, uh, how he is having a transcendental body, unembodied, akayam, and how he is asna viram, free, his body is free from beings, paribhu, shuddham, apapa vidham, so many qualities wonderfully they are described. So knowing the Ishvara, that was the second section. Then what is that knowledge? Knowing the Ishvara. So then what is the right knowledge? What is the wrong knowledge? Vidya and avidya. That's spoken in the third section. We talked about knowing the Ishvara. What is the process? What's the way? So that is spoken in the second section. But after that, okay, well then what is that knowledge? What is the real knowledge? What is the uh, relative knowledge? What is absolute knowledge? Uh, so all that is the discussion for verses 9 to 11. Vidya and avidya. So this is like the theory. The theory is there. And then there is practical. There is the process also, right? So that's the next section, 12 to 14. So 9 to 11 is the theory aspect, and 12 to 14 is the practical aspect. What does a devotee do then? How does he worship? What is his worship? So that worship is spoken in text 12 to 14. Sambhuti, asambhuti. He worships Samyak Bhuti. He worships that independent Supreme Lord. And he does not worship asambhuti. Those who are dependent, whether it is demigods or some powerful beings, they are finally dependent on the Lord. So a wise man does not worship them. He may respect them. We may respect the demigods, but we don't worship them. We don't see them as the goal of our life. That's the point. So that worship is spoken about in text 12, 13, and 14. And these two sections are quite similar in nature, similar in their the way they are expressed, right? 9 and 11, Vidya, Vidya, Avidya leads to darkness, Vidya leads to greater darkness. Similarly, worship of Asambhuti leads to darkness, worship of Sambhuti leads to greater darkness. So, and then one should also Know that one result is achieved by worshipping, that is supreme, and another result is achieved by worshipping, that is not supreme. So that was discussed in the last verse. And now comes the last verse in this section of Sambhuti and Asambhuti. And this particular section, it describes how we have to simultaneously cultivate the knowledge of material world and also the knowledge of spiritual world. So cultivating knowledge means what? We have to know the nature of material world. We don't have to start studying material world in a deep scientific way or like that. That's not the point. Vinashena mrityum tirtva, which means that we know how this material world is, what is the nature of this material world, and then we know how to survive in this material world. Whatever is needful, Prabhupada said, no, best use of the bad bargain. So we have to stay in this world, we do the best use of the bad bargain. We know how to survive in this world. So that much skill, that much knowledge of the material world we have, by which we know how to maintain ourselves. And in this way, leading a life like that, vinashena mrityum tirtva, and then one sambhutya amrutam ashnote, one achieves by the worshipping the Lord, by performing devotional service, one achieves immortality. So that's the text 14 now. It means that you have the knowledge of the material world, the nature of the material world, but don't get caught up in material world. And instead, by performing devotional service, sambhutya amrutam ashmute, one achieves the immortality. So that's what is spoken in this section. And then the last section here is the prayers. I'm just telling you overview. If you remember this, then overall Ishopanishad will be very easy for you to remember what exactly is spoken where. Last section is about prayers actually, verses 15 to 18. These are the prayers. So, you may know the process, you may have the right knowledge. So is that enough? We know the process, we have the knowledge. So is that enough? Will we achieve the Supreme Lord? No, we will not be able. So we have to also be prayerful. We have to submit our prayer. It's not like Lord is someone we can capture by our right knowledge and right process. The right process demands that we pray. That's the thing. It's not like an experiment, right? You do an experiment, then what happens? You mix something, you put sodium and chloride, and then you get salt. You have hydrogen and you have oxygen, you get water. So you follow the process, you get the result. But here, the process itself demands that we surrender unto the Lord. And the prayers, that prayerful attitude, that is needed. So we may have knowledge of bhakti process. We may have the right process also. But the essential element of that process is the prayerful attitude. And you see, that's why Ishopanishad is ending with prayer. Because if we are not prayerful, then we are missing the essence of bhakti process. Bhakti process is not like, okay, here I have Shravanam Kirtanam process and I capture the Lord by that process. Then the mentality is exactly like jnanis or yogis then. They think that by their intellectual power they will capture, or by their sense control they will capture the Lord. By their meditation ability they will capture the Lord. So a devotee knows that Krishna cannot be achieved without his favor. Only when he desires to reveal himself, right? That's how the nature of the Lord is. That when he desires to reveal himself, then only. Otherwise, Naham Prakasha Sarvas, Yogamaya Samavita. I remain hidden to everyone. So this is a prayer to that Ishvara, that please, my Lord, I am trying to be a devotee. You please reveal your wonderful nature. and you reveal your Nama Rupa Guna Leela to me, by which my heart will be further attracted to your feet and I can achieve your lotus feet. And so this is how the prayer is ending. In that 15 and 16, these are the prayers so that Lord's beautiful Nama Rupa Guna Leela is revealed. Huh? The devotee is praying to remove the Brahman effulgence, this dazzling effulgence that covers Sri Krishna's beautiful form, Paramatma's beautiful form. And the devotee is praying that, my Lord, please reveal your beautiful form by taking away that dazzling effulgence. So he's showing he's not interested in Brahmajyoti effulgence. No, he's interested in that form, which is the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is the root of impersonal Brahman. So that's prayer 15 and 16. And 17 and 18, these are the prayers of a devotee uh, who is at the last point of his life when he is requesting the Lord to bestow his mercy. Huh? Having led a life of service, the devotee is praying that, my dear Lord, uh, now that my life air is going away, uh, please, whatever I have tried, you please remember the service. So that remembrance, we'll talk about these prayers as we come to that. But yeah, basically it's a humble prayer asking the Lord that I might have committed so many mistakes, my Lord, but you are that merciful person. So, please forgive me for my mistakes. And uh, if I have done something worthwhile, please remember that and please bestow your mercy. Uh, please allow me to come to your lotus feet. So, in that humble sense, the prayers are there. It is not like some mundane prayer where one is asking, oh, please remember what I have done. Don't forget what I have done for you. Not in that sense exactly. So let's talk about this now. So first we go to text 14 and we complete this section. 12, 13 and 14. So you remember we discussed this. So the verse 12, it says, Asambhuti is the dependent living beings like demigods, and Sambhuti is Samyak Bhuti, that is the Supreme Lord. But here, especially that aspect is being referred to the Brahman feature of the Supreme Lord in personal absolute. That uh, in text 13, anything other than Supreme Personality of Godhead leads to one result, and Supreme Personality of Godhead's worship leads to another result. So especially that result in terms of good qualities we saw, right? The result is in terms of those auspicious qualities that one develops. And then finally, that will lead one to liberation, attaining the Lord's abode. So now is the text 14. So let's see this. Mantra 14. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedo bhayam saha vinashena mrutyum tirtva sambhutyamritam right. Uh, Arjun Krishna Prabhu, you want to read, Prabhu? Translation?
Hare Krishna Puji Dandapuna Puji. Yes, Puji.
Prabhu. Please
Translation.
read.
Translation. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and men and animals. When one knows this, he surpasses death and the ephem- ephemeral,
Ephemeral.
ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So now here two words are there. Vinasha Sambhuti. So Vinasha has been used for the material world. Because material world is temporary, it undergoes the destruction. Uh, Six kinds of transformations happen in the material world. Anything appears, jayate, asti stays for some time, vardhate grows, parinamate produces byproducts, apakshiyate dwindles, vinashyati gets destroyed. Six kinds of transformations, they're common. When the six kind of transformations, they're there for combination of living being and matter. If it's only matter, then there are three kinds of transformation. Something comes into being, jayate, and then it stays for some time, asti, and then vinashyati, it dwindles and falls off. But take a human being where there is spirit soul who has accepted a body of human. So it's a combination of matter and spirit. So we also see that what happens in this case is there is growth. There is also some byproducts that are produced. Uh, So we see this aspect. Byproducts are produced and there is growth. And finally, apakshiyate and vinashyati. So when it's this aspect of living being, combination of matter and spirit is there. So we see that this aspect of growth and byproducts, they are there additionally. Otherwise, we see on the other transformations are common, whether it is matter or spirit, um, combination of spirit and matter. Anyway, my point is this, that vinasha, material world undergoes destruction, isn't it? So that's why it is called as vinasha. So very clear. Vinasha is one aspect. And what is the other aspect? Sambhuti. So we know that word by now. It is said, Yaha tad veda ubhayam saha. One who knows both of these things, ubhayam, saha, simultaneously. He knows this, meaning one is knowing about the material nature and one is knowing about also the spiritual world, spiritual nature. Sambhuti would refer here to Supreme Lord and his abode, his associates, everything. Prabhupada also is translating, you see name, form, pastimes, qualities, abode, and everything is included. So we know about the material world and we know also about the spiritual world. Vinashena mrutyum tirtva. So one will be able to transcend death by vinasha. It's interesting, no? It might appear to mean the same thing. Vinashena mrutyum tirtva. It means that crossing over the death by knowledge of the material world. Sambhutya amritam ashnute, one achieves immortality by the knowledge of the Supreme Lord or by worshipping the Supreme Lord. It might sound the same thing, crossing over the death and achieving immortality. But it's different actually. It's different. These are two different things. Crossing over the death is basically leading the life in the material world in such a way that we can practice bhakti. Vinashena mrityum tiyate. And knowing the nature of material world and not getting caught up in it, rather knowing how to act in this world so as one does not get attached, but still one procures the needs that are there for living in this world. That is called Vinashena Mrityum Tirtha. Samhutya Amritam Ashnute. And what's the positive result? The positive result is that one achieves the abode of the Lord. So how is that going to happen? That is going to happen only by Sambhuti, by worshipping Sri Krishna, his name, form, pastimes, qualities, by performing devotional service. So then that will give immortality. So you live in this world with the knowledge of the material world, and then you attain the abode of the spiritual world by devotional service. So both have its roles to play, right? There is this knowledge of varnashrama that was there in prior times, where you learn about the material world, you learn about the uh, particular varna, particular ashrama, and how you should execute the duties of that ashrama. It's all about material world. No? If you only do that part, can you achieve spiritual world? No, you cannot. You cannot. You have to render devotional service also. Uh, only doing that part, one may be able to achieve, heavenly abodes or like that, but not spiritual world. So that's why Sambhutya Amritam Ashnute. If you want immortality, then you have to worship Sambhuti. And you have to practice the process of bhakti. You understand? So that's how the verse has been spoken, these two aspects. Okay. So let's go to purport. It's a purport where Prabhupada speaks some important themes. You can see uh, first two paragraphs talk about how this world is a place of death. Uh, Deathlessness is very much desired in this world, but this place is marked with death, right? Sometimes we talk about death sentence of criminals, right? Death sentence, whether they should get the death sentence or not, capital punishment. Uh, but actually, each one of us comes in this world with a death sentence. Have you thought about it? We all are having a death sentence. We all come with that on our forehead, death sentence, because this is a world of death. Mrityu loka, very definition. Martya loka means where people die. That's it. So, Prabhupada would say, as sure as death. Uh, if we want to speak about certainty, is there anything as certain as death? Death is the most certain, isn't it? And so they say also, as sure as death. So Prabhupada says that how material world is certainly a place of death. Nothing can make this world deathless. Uh, Whether how much ever technological advancement we make, um, it is impossible, right? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi. You cannot get rid of these. You cannot get rid of these, especially in Martya Loka. It is impossible. In higher planets, you may be able to get rid of Jara. You can get rid of Jara. There is no old age there. There is also no disease there. So Jara and Vyadhi you may get rid of. But can you get rid of uh, Janma and Mrityu? No, that's not possible, right? Um, they may live for long life, but they can't get rid of Janma and Mrityu. That's how it is. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshana. Brahma Bhuvanal Lokat Punaravartino Jana Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Dukkhalayam Shashvatam. Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate. I'm sorry. Just getting distracted with something. Okay. Uh, so nothing can make this world deathless. That's Vinashim. First two para Prabhupada speaks about it. Then he speaks about how Vedas speak about the world of death and the world of deathlessness. Both aspects, right? Krishna speaks about this in the Bhagavad Gita. Parastasmatu bhavanyam vyakto vyaktat sanatanam. He speaks about the spiritual world. He speaks about Dukharema Shashvatam material world in all other places also. So that's next theme Prabhupada speaks in three paragraphs. Then Sambhutya Amritam Ashnute, only by surrender to Krishna can we transcend the material world and we can attain immortality. We can't transcend death without worshipping the Lord. Whether that worship can happen in the path of jnana as worship of impersonal Brahman, or in the path of yoga as worship of Paramatma, and in the process of bhakti as worship of Bhagavan. But you have to worship the Lord. And you cannot transcend material world without worshipping the Lord. It is impossible. Even someone who is worshipping impersonal Brahman, if such a person has a misconception about Krishna, you know what happens to such a person? He can never achieve Brahman. They just cannot transcend the material world. They may achieve great position in the material world. They may become even Jivan Mukta. You have become completely freed from all attachments. But if you, at that point of time also, if one develops a wrong conception about Krishna, or one disrespects Krishna, has confusion about Krishna's position, then from that position they will fall. So only by surrender to Krishna, we can transcend death. It is very clear. Even if somebody wants to go and merge in Brahman, and that way transcend death, but it is impossible without worshipping the Lord. Same way with yoga. The yogis naturally they meditate on Paramatma, right? If you meditate on some light or some these days yoga has become like a funny thing, right? They talk about meditating on anything, meditating on your dog also. They talk about meditating on your dog. So, and then that is not yoga, that is doga, right? Yoga with dog is doga. So this is not how Patanjali taught the yoga process. There has to be Paramatma as the object of meditation. So that's yoga. Otherwise, it is something else in the name of yoga. So unless and until one worships Supreme Lord, it is impossible to achieve deathlessness. So that's the theme Prabhupada speaks. And then finally, so that's why one gives up misconceptions so that one can attain immortality. See, a devotee may not desire to attain immortality. One may feel like, is that a desire? But see, Lord only gives him immortality. Because why would Lord have the devotees serve in this miserable material world with so many limitations, right? If Lord has a desire, he may keep the devotee in material world. So that's why a devotee does not pray for immortality, but it's a natural fallout of worshipping the Supreme Lord, that he will accept a devotee in his abode. But at the highest level, a devotee does not want liberation also. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagati shakamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatar bhaktirahiti. Right. So the only desire of a devotee is what? If you want to, if someone asks, what is the only desire of a devotee? So the only desire of a devotee is pleasure of Krishna. It's the happiness of Krishna. That's it. So that happiness in whatever way comes, he is okay with that. If it comes by being in the material world and serving him, the devotee is happy. If it comes by Krishna accepting the devotee in spiritual world, he is happy. If it comes by becoming a humble servant of all the devotees, he is happy. If it comes by becoming a leader of leaders of the devotees, he is happy. Anyway, the mood is always servant of servant. But my point is, for a devotee, the situation doesn't matter. Krishna's pleasure matters. Divi va bhuvi va mamastu vaso narake va narakantak prakamam avadhirita sharadar vindo charano te marane vichintayami. Guru Maharaj says in his prayers, Mukundamala Stotra, or So many other places also where we see that Narayan Parasarve Nakutaschana Bibhyati Svargapa Varga Narakeshu Apitulyat Darshanam. Devotees of the Lord, for them, heaven or hell, it's the same thing, provided they have the service to the Lord. That's the point. So, this is how Prabhupada has commented on this verse. So, let's see this verse, both through Prabhupada's purport, then we will move on. So, first two paragraphs, you see the theme is nothing can make this world deathless, because Prabhupada is talking about how this place is vinasha, and this place is full of uh, death and destruction like that. By its so-called, okay, I can ask someone.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Please read.
Hare Krishna. By its so-called advancement of knowledge, human civilization has created many material things, including spaceships and atomic energy. Yet it has failed to create a situation in which people need not die, take birth again, become old or suffer from disease. Whenever an intelligent man raises the question of these miseries before a so-called scientist, the scientist very cleverly replies that material science is progressing and not ultimately it will be possible to render man deathless, ageless and diseaseless. Such answers prove the scientist's gross ignorance of material nature. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu. Thank you. So you can see Prabhupada is in the beginning addressing this that no matter how much science and technology may advance, but then can we conquer death? Huh? Is it possible to conquer death? So in science, they always talk about conquering death, right? Uh, they talk about it. So Prabhupada would say that it is like post-dated check. It's like a check where you keep on giving the future date only. Uh, so you just can't withdraw it because always that check is on a date which is in the future, post-dated check. Right. So that's the problem. You want to withdraw it, but no, there's future date. So it's an issue. So similarly, whenever you talk about, okay, have you now figured out why one has to die and how one can become deathless? Can science answer? No, they cannot answer. They may understand some mechanism of aging and all that, but can they stop it? This is our point. Can they produce life in spite of highly advanced knowledge of DNAs and RNAs and all these structures and all? But can they produce life? You give them the chemicals without taking any living body. Can they produce life? They can't do that. Even cloning and all, it's still dependent on a living organism, living body, right? So we see that science, although it may promise a lot, but there is no uh, purpose accomplished in terms of uh, I mean, in terms of evading the death or like that. Huh? What to speak of that? Even the diseases, and they have got cures for some diseases, but so many other diseases have evolved, right? So you can't wipe out diseases. Previously, there were certain diseases on which there were no cures. uh, but then science evolved and got so many cures. But then now there are newer diseases and there are no cures for that. So many diseases, there are diseases like cancer or AIDS or even for that matter, so many diseases like COVID and all, they keep on coming. Uh, there is hardly hundreds of diseases. Uh, I mean, all my brothers, cousins, and sister also, they are doctors. So I keep on asking them about diseases and which are the incurable diseases, and just such a huge list of incurable diseases that way. So Presentation may be done something, that as if we have conquered now the death and we have conquered the diseases and all, but it's not fact. It's certainly not a fact. And what to speak of mental diseases, stress and depression and issues of mental adhi and vyadhi, right? Vyadhi is a physical disease, and adhi is mental disease. So adhi, vyadhi, both, there's so much trouble in this world. Like that. So such answers prove the scientist's gross ignorance of material nature. Prabhupada is saying this, that material world means these six transformations will be there. They have to be there. You can't do anything with that. So there is no point in trying to settle this world and you know uh, think that we will stay here eternally. Who was that? That Walt Disney, I think. Walt Disney, he asked the scientists to preserve his body so that if in the future they get this formula for reviving someone, the life elixir, as they call it. Uh, so then he said, please revive me, because he had a lot of money. So he gave a lot of money to scientists and said, if in the future you develop this formula of reviving a person, bringing him back to life, please bring me back to life. I have so much of work that is not done. That was Walt Disney. So we see that the material world, everybody wants to live, right? But this is a place of death. That's what was the question asked by Yaksha also to Yudhishthir Maharaj in Mahabharata, right? Yaksha asked, "What is the greatest wonder? What is the greatest wonder? Kim Ashcharyam?" And that was the question. Kya hai? Ashcharya kya hai? So what was the answer? Anyone wants to tell? What was Yudhishthir Maharaj's answer to Yaksha when he said, "What is the greatest wonder?" Shri Padam Ghosh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji. Yes,
Dandavat.
Prabhuji. Yudhishthir Maharaj answered that the my father has died, the great grandfather has died, and everybody is dying. Still, everybody thinks that there is no death, and they are working so hard in this material world. That's the answer, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, that's right. Huh? Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam sheshasthavara ichanti kim ashcharyam antaparam. Every day, day in, day out, so many people dying. But those who are here, they feel that we should not die. Sheshaha sthavara ichanti. They want to reside here permanently. Right? They live their life as if they are not going to die. Everyone knows that they are going to die, but they live as if they are not going to die, right? इतनी जिंदगी पड़ी है, like that they will say. कितना जीवन है, अरे पूरा जीवन बाकी है, ये भक्ति बाद में करना, right? Whenever we accepted bhakti, in all of us, right? Most of us came in young age. So I became I came to Krishna consciousness when I was also 19 years old. So that time everybody started saying relatives and all that. Of course, my mother is a very wonderful devotee, so she was very happy that I became a devotee. But others, many of them, they started saying, "अरे इतना जिंदगी पड़ा है, क्यों इतने जल्दी भक्ति भक्ति कर रहे हो?" Right? So they feel like you are not going to die soon. It's like huge, very long life is there, so much time. Shesha sthavara ichanti. So this is the sense of that. They don't want to die, certainly, but they live their life also like they are not going to die. They are not going to die. They live their life like that. They spend their time, entire life, in pursuit of material enjoyment, without any regard for God consciousness. So, Kim Ashcharya Mata Param. Is it not? How is it different than those goats which stand in the line to be slaughtered by the butcher. You have seen, they're standing in the line actually. And then the goat is taken and the butcher slaughters the goat. The next goat is very nicely munching on the grass, happy, no problem. Although in front of her, the butcher has slaughtered the goat. So, is human consciousness where there's no regard for God consciousness not something like that? Is it not something like that? It is actually, it is like that only. Uh, If one does not think about this aspect of, okay, why the death is there? Why I have to die? Where do I go after death? What is this whole cycle of life and death? Uh, what is my relationship with the Supreme? There was a Western philosopher, he said, contemplation on death is the beginning of philosophy. Very beautiful statement. Contemplation on death is the beginning of philosophy. That question is very poignant, right? It's very proper for somebody who is a wise human being. Uh, that, okay, why is my life incompatible like this? If that question only doesn't arise, then the person is leading life like practically like an animal, just like those goats are standing. So, so we make that inquiry and then we search for answers, right? So by Prabhupada's mercy, we got the right direction to make those inquiries, and also we got right answers to make those inquiries. So the duration of life may vary according to species. uh, like Lord Brahma, he lives for 100 years of Brahma, right? Where his one day is 1,000 Chaturyugas, and one day meaning only 12 hours, 12 hours like that, also in the night. So that's another 1,000 Chaturyugas. So his 24 years, 24 hours, it's 2,000 Chaturyugas. So like this, he lives for 100 years. So that's Brahma. And then there is uh, another, insect, uh, insect such as Indragopa. There is Indra and there is Indragopa, or there is Brahma and Indragopa. So this is an insect which has a very small duration of life. There are some insects, you can check that in zoology. We have studied that they live for only few hours. In that much time, those insects, they take birth and they live. I mean, they grow, they live, they produce their byproducts, and then they degenerate and they die. And this whole thing happens within span of few hours. So Prabhupada is saying that minute germ lives for some hours only. So these insects which live only for few hours actually. So for such a person, the life of a human being where one may live for 80, 90 years, that may appear like eternity, right? And similarly, for a human being, the demigod's life may appear like an eternity. For the demigods, the Brahma's life may appear like eternity. But they all have end. They, no one in the material world can survive eternally. You see? So all have end, right? So devatas are known as amaras. They don't die. What is the meaning of that? They don't die, amaras, because, in the Swarga, you don't die there. What happens is once their punya is over, they disappear from the Swarga. And while coming down, Shine Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti, while coming down, they die actually. They give up their body. So because they don't die in the Swarga, so that's why they are known as Amaras. but you die. You may not die in Swarga, but you die while coming down. No? Uh, so death is where the lifespan gets over. Uh, that's it. So that's why there is no one Amara in the material world. They are only namesake Amaras. There is actually death that is there. Everyone is born with a death sentence in the material world. So that's why the entire material universe is called Martya Loka. So this does not make us panicky or, it's not that we become jittery because, we become paranoid because of somebody, just like somebody who is going to die becomes paranoid. So it's not that we are talking something like that. No, instead of paranoia, it leads us to sobriety. We become sober. Yes, actually. Why am I taking the material life so seriously? Finally, everybody has to leave one day. So let me lead my life in a way that it is fulfilling, but let me focus on what is my destination. How do I achieve my uh, goal of my life? Uh, Leading through this. This is a mad place. We don't take things in material world that seriously. It's a temporary place where we stay for some time and we leave, right? As soon as the death happens, after death, who talks about anyone, right? I mean, even great personalities live in this world. And then when they depart, who talks about them? Nobody talks about them. That's the nature of material world. Huh? That's how it is. Everybody is in their own world. Everybody is basically the world is self-centered. That way. So we play our part in the material world. Whatever Krishna has given us those many years in material world, we live our life, we serve devotees, we serve Vaishnavas, and then by process of bhakti, we want to go to the next destination. Uh, a great attachment to the material world that will give suffering while we are here in the material world, and it will also cause uh, taking another birth in the material world. So that's why a devotee lives with that detachment. Uh, he knows I have to do the best use of bad bargain. I don't have to have very spectacular expectations from material world. We do our part, and that part may have varieties of responsibilities. Someone may be a big businessman, someone may be a simple devotee working in a job, someone may be a teacher or whatever. But the point is that in either of the cases, to be too much entangled in the material world is not good, because finally there is one stroke of death which just makes everything flat. That's it. And then after that, no one will, apart from devotees who are very wonderful, genuine people, who talks in this world, right? Many great emperors have come and gone. Nothing changes in the material world. So who are we to think about too much seriously about the material world? Not needed. We think seriously about devotional service. That's the So next is Vedas speak about the death free world and the world of death. So that's why this quotation is from Vishnu Puran. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetrajna Kya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sanyanya Titiya Shakti Rishyate. There is Parashakti, there is Kshetrajna Shakti, there is Apara Shakti, meaning there is material world, there is spiritual world, there are these living entities. So they they reside in both the places. Uh, there are living entities in spiritual world, in material world. Parastasmatu bhavonyo avyakto vyaktat sanatana yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyat shuruna vinashyat. So this is the description of spiritual world from Bhagavad Gita, right? You know this, 8.20. Uh, so Krishna speaks about the spiritual world. Before that, he speaks about the material world, the Kalema Shashvatam, and then he speaks about spiritual world also. So this spiritual world is exactly opposite nature, the realm of deathlessness, where there is no janma, no mrityu, jara, vyadhi, nothing of that sort. It's a realm which is completely eternal realm of joy. And that's the place where we belong to. So the spiritual world is advertised by Shastras that, okay, this is our place. So our case is something like the amnesia, spiritual amnesia. Prabhupada would tell uh, somebody who has uh, lost his memory uh, of the spiritual world, lost his memory of the Supreme Lord. So because of that, there is this revival that is done by the process of bhakti. Uh, it revives us with that knowledge of the Supreme Lord, and this one becomes one remembers all the spiritual world and Shri Krishna's transcendental qualities so as to attain that this way. So Prabhupada goes on to speak this theme for 2-3 paragraphs like that. So here Prabhupada speaks about how there is this something called as avyakta. So what is this avyakta? See, at the end of Brahma's day, all the living beings, they sleep within the body of Brahma, and Brahma himself sleeps within the body of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. That state is called as avyakta. So the discussion is again in terms of how the material world undergoes destruction. And then at the end of Brahma's life also, everything merges into Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and then finally into Mahavishnu. So that is also called avyakta. Those both of these phases are called pralaya. You must be aware of it. This is called as a partial annihilation and complete annihilation. Naimittika pralaya and prakritik pralaya. So at the end of day of Brahma, there is this pralaya which is called naimittik pralaya, where only up to Svarga, the heavenly planets, the planets are destroyed. The top 4 are not destroyed. And all the living beings of these up to Svarga planets, they sleep within the body of Brahma, who himself sleeps within the body of Garbhodakshayi. So it is called a partial devastation because top 4 planets are not devastated. The living beings of those planets are also not devastated. They also sleep. They are there. They sleep along with Brahma. But it is not destroyed. But at the end of Brahma's life, everything is destroyed, all the 14 planetary systems. Even Brahma gives up this material world and goes back to spiritual world, along with all the sages and all that. So at that point of time, we see that it's a complete destruction, complete devastation, a prakritik pralaya, like that. So Prabhupada brings up this discussion in order to show that. So this is how the material world is. It has this characteristic of destruction. So if one wants to avoid this destruction, what is the process? So only by surrender to Krishna can we transcend the death. So here Prabhupada now brings up the discussion on what is the way. Sambhuti is the way to uh, transcend that death. So for that Sambhuti, there are different margas, different paths. There is Jnana path, there is Yoga path, there is Karma, then there is Bhakti. So out of which the Karma path is not able to destroy the death. But Jnana, Yoga and Bhakti paths, they are able to destroy the death. One is able to transcend the material world, like that. So if they take the path like the Jnanis and Yogis, if they are worshipping the Supreme, see, sometimes these Jnanis, they may desire to go upper planets also, like how Prabhupada is saying. Jnanis and Yogis can attain still higher planets. But when they start aspiring for the highest destination like Paramatma or Brahma Jyoti, then they are able to achieve. Otherwise, sometimes jnanis can settle on some lower goals also, like they just go to Maharloka, Tapaloka, and they're happy with that. Or yogis also, sometimes they just settle with some siddhis and they go to the Siddhalokas and they're happy. That's it. But we are talking about authentic jnani and yogi, then these people, they are able to, because of worshipping the Supreme Lord, they are also able to transcend the material world. So process is that one has to surrender. Without surrender, it's impossible. Without Sharanagati, without worshipping the Supreme Lord, that may not be your main process, but you have to mix your process with that. Like a jnani, he may do a lot of Vedanta study, but you have to mix that process with bhakti. Otherwise, you can't achieve the goal of jnana. Yoga, you may be meditating on Paramatma, but you have to also hear about Paramatma. You have to hear about his qualities and worship him with a favorable attitude, worshipping in the sense of meditating on him. So then only you can achieve Paramatma. Otherwise, why will you achieve? And then what to speak of Bhagavan, where there is active service, right? It's not just meditation. So there, naturally, one has to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So this is the point. If we want to put an end to this process of repeated birth and death, as well as the concomitant factors of old age and disease, we must try to enter spiritual planets and where we can live eternally in the association of Lord Krishna. So that's the realm that we aspire for. Prabhupada says in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that when we hear the descriptions or read the descriptions of spiritual world, Prabhupada says in the um, he says in the purport of that particular verse where he is describing the spiritual world. Na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yat katvana nivartante tadbhasayate. So there Prabhupada speaks, you can see, Prabhupada says one should be captivated by the descriptions of the spiritual world. When one hears these descriptions, so one is captivated, one feels, yes, this is the place that I want to go, right? Such a beautiful place. Like we pray in Brahma Samhita, Shriya Kanta Kantah Parama Purushaha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumischinta Mani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Apivam Shri Priya Sakhi Chidanandam Jyoti Mapi Tata Swatyam Picha Sayatra Kshirabdhi. So beautiful description, right? Katha Ganam, every word there is like singing. Natyam Gamanam. Gamanam, when you walk, it is like Natyam, it is like Nritya, it is like dance. Vamshi Priya Sakhi, everywhere you hear that sound of Vamshi. Such a beautiful place, right? Spiritual world. So that's the destination. So that's why it's very important in our life that we regularly hear about that abode and the pastimes of that abode and how that place is full of such wonderful leelas which Lord manifests in this world also. If we hear about something, then we will have the desire to attain that place. Right? If we don't hear, then we will hear material world, the propaganda of material world. So, right? If you don't do Shravanam Kirtan of Krishna and his abode, his associates, then you will do Shravanam Kirtan of material world. Even inadvertently, uh, unwillingly, because that's how it is. Propaganda of the material world is so prominent. So we take effort to absorb that spiritual sound vibration. So surrender unto Krishna. That's the process. Sambhutya Amritamashmita. And this is the Lord's last instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. Give up all other processes and just surrender unto me alone. Unfortunately, foolish men have misinterpreted this prime teaching and misled the masses of people in diverse ways. Right, Prabhupada would speak about that commentator of Bhagavad Gita. You all know him. Prabhupada initially had not translated his Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Prabhupada was referring the commentary of this President of India, Vice President, I think, Vice President of India, not President. First Vice President, second Vice President, or first Vice President. So Prabhupada was referring his commentary. So Prabhupada would read the translation, but he would not read the purport, because purport was having a lot of impersonalistic and sometimes Mayavadi kind of ideas like that. So especially when Krishna is saying Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto, so Krishna is saying that always think of me. So the commentator had commented something like we have to meditate on something within Krishna and not Krishna. So Prabhupada would be very, uh, he would not be very happy with such things. But still, he would, because there was no Bhagavad Gita, so he was referring that translation. But he would warn the devotees. So devotees would be wondering, he is using the book, but he continuously would critique the purports. Because Prabhupada said, the commentator is not speaking what Krishna wants, he is speaking what he wants. Like that. So we see that this is why Prabhupada is here saying also people have misinterpreted this teaching. So this is it. In this mantra, Shri Ishopanishad teaches that one must perfectly know that both Sambhuti and Vinasha side by side. So we know the nature of material world so that we don't get bewildered by it, we don't get intoxicated by material world, so that we don't get unduly attached to the material world. See, if we don't hear about material world's nature, then the propaganda is in such a way that one will start thinking that material world is a very beautiful place, and one will not see the reality, right? See, if you are in a hospital and if somebody is trying to hide the reality of disease, or that, okay, this is a wonderful place to stay, uh, is it a justice? It's not a place to stay, right? You can get cured of your disease. That is very nice. But if someone wants you to stay in the hospital permanently, will you agree? Uh, You will not agree, right? Worse still would be prison. Uh, Prison, one may reform, but is it that one makes prison a permanent residence? So if the world is propagating that we make these places into permanent residences, so we know that it's not a genuine propaganda. So that's why one hears about the nature of material world. That's why Shastra speaks about it, material world. It doesn't speak only about spiritual world, it also speaks about material world. Because if we don't hear both the sides, we may become sentimental devotees. Those who talk about, right? In this world also, you will find people, even in Vrindavan here, I can tell you so many of them, they are like very sentimental. They feel like Krishna, Radhe, but then they can't give up attachments of the material world. They feel like, oh, this place is also so wonderful. My money, my this, my that. So much of attachment. A devotee may be also attached, but a devotee knows that this attachment is not good. I should actually utilize everything for Krishna's service, and eventually I should just become attached to Krishna, nothing else. I have to give up everything one day. So my point is, to have this illusion about material world, that's not good. So that's why Prabhupada says, one cultivates both the sides. One knows the nature of the material world, and one also knows, not only knows, but in fact, one focuses on that aspect of spiritual world. So only knowing about spiritual world, one may become a sentimental bhakta. Uh, One likes to hear about Krishna, and then one likes the wrong things in the material world also, like the sabjiyas and all, they are like that, because they are not cultivating this knowledge of material world from the Shastra, knowing the nature of the material world. And if you only cultivate material world, then you will not have any positive attraction for spiritual world. No? Huh? It will be like jnanis. They only talk about the suffering nature of the material world. So, but you don't have that positive taste of bhakti. So you may become a very dry kind of spiritualist. So we don't want to become dry mental speculators. We don't want to become sabjiyas. We want to become proper devotees. So that's why both the knowledge. You understand? So it's a very beautiful mantra. And it's telling about how we cultivate both the aspects in this way. All right. Thank you. So that completes the discussion of this piece. All right. Any questions you have on this, or anything discussed on this entire 12, 13, 14? Any quick questions?
प्रभु एक प्रश्न है यहाँ से, प्रभु जी, एक आश्रम के भक्त से एक प्रश्न।
Yes, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रणाम प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, ये जब ये ब्रह्मा जी का जब लोग जो रात्रि जब ये होता है तो उस समय ध्रुव लोग तो बना रहता है ना प्रभु जी। ब्रह्मा जी की जब रात्रि होती है तो उसमें पूरा लोग प्रलय हो जाता है उस समय।
देखिए प्रभु, यस, ध्रुव लोक तो वैकुंठ है प्रभु, उसको तो वैकुंठ ही माना जाता है। ठीक है, तो इसलिए वो तो कभी विनाश होने का सवाल ही नहीं है। हाँ, वो भौतिक जगत में वैकुंठ है। भौतिक जगत में 3 वैकुंठ है, इसको बृहद भागवतामृत में बताया। आपने सुना नहीं होगा ये चीज। भौतिक जगत में भी वैकुंठ है। हाँ, भौतिक जगत के परे तो वैकुंठ है ही, लेकिन इस जगत में भी 3 वैकुंठ है। एक है ध्रुवलोक, तो इसलिए उसका कभी विनाश नहीं। दूसरा है श्वेतद्वीप, हाँ, उसका भी कभी भी विनाश नहीं। और तीसरा है रमा वैकुंठ, हाँ, लोकालोक पर्वत के ऊपर है, तो उसका भी कभी विनाश नहीं होता। रमा वैकुंठ में ये भगवान वैकुंठ रहते हैं, उनका नाम ही वैकुंठ है, और उनकी प्रिया रमा देवी रहती है। ये जो लीला हुई ना, ये कुमारों को शाप मिला था, ये लीला वहां पे हुई है रमा वैकुंठ के सामने। ये ऊपर वाले वैकुंठ महावैकुंठ में नहीं हुई, इधर वाले वैकुंठ में हुई है। तो ऐसे 3 वैकुंठ है इस जगत में। तो भौतिक संसार में जब भी मतलब नैमित्तिक प्रलय होगा ब्रह्मा जी के दिन के अंत में, तो ना ध्रुवलोक का विनाश होगा, ना रमा वैकुंठ का विनाश होगा, ना ही श्वेत द्वीप का विनाश होगा। ठीक है।
ओके प्रभु, धन्यवाद प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण। अन्य कोई प्रश्न है किसी? ठीक है, फिर अगर प्रश्न नहीं है तो फिर हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं। आगे के 2 श्लोकों पे अब चर्चा करेंगे। इन दोनों श्लोकों में जो थीम्स है वो एकदम सिमिलर है, तो इन 2 श्लोकों पे मैं चर्चा करूंगा। इन 2 श्लोकों पे चर्चा पूरी होने के बाद थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लेते हैं 5 मिनट का, और फिर बचा हुआ जो है कंप्लीट करेंगे। ठीक है। देखिए, ये मंत्र 15, 16, 17 और 18 का सेक्शन आ रहा है अभी। थोड़ा सा ये वाला सेक्शन हम लोग कह सकते हो कि इसको और भी विस्तार से ले सकते थे। हाँ, लेकिन चूंकि समय के समय को ध्यान में रखते हुए आप चिंता मत कीजिए। इसमें से कुछ विषय जो है ना, मैं गीता में बहुत विस्तार से पढ़ाऊंगा। ठीक है। तो अ, कर्म, ज्ञान, योगा और उसका कंपैरिजन भक्ति के साथ इसको विस्तार से पढ़ेंगे गीता में। तो इसलिए कोई चिंता नहीं है। आपको लगा कोई विषय अगर थोड़ा और विस्तार से बता सकते हैं तो कोई परेशानी नहीं उसमें, क्योंकि ये विषय फिर से आएंगे भगवत गीता में। ठीक है। तो अभी मंत्र जो 15वां मंत्र है इसकी चर्चा करते हैं। हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखम् तत्त्वं पुषण्ण पावृणु सत्य धर्माय दृष्टये। ठीक। हरे कृष्ण। तो इसका अनुवाद पढ़िए। आनंदिनी गोपी माता जी, आप पढ़ना चाहती है?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंड प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी।
Translation: O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee.
I think that was Nityavanjali Mataji, right? Who read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. All right. So you see now, this is a very beautiful verse from Ishopanishad, where the last section is beginning now. This is the prayer section. So why this section is there, I spoke to you, right? We may know, we may have the knowledge, we may have the process also, whom to worship. That process is also there. The knowledge is also there. So the prior set of verses, which is 9, 10, 11, they have spoken about what is Vidya, Avidya. And then 12, 13, 14 have spoken about the process of worship, Sambhuti and Asambhuti. But even if you have this knowledge and the process of bhakti demands that we surrender, that we are prayerful to the Supreme Lord. Because Sri Krishna or the Supreme Lord, he cannot be revealed without his mercy. You cannot capture him by anything. You cannot capture him by, for that matter, even the process of bhakti. You can capture him by process of bhakti only because he agrees to be captured by process of. Understand this. Krishna agrees to be captured by process of bhakti. That's a bona fide way that he himself has given to capture him, to attain him. That is why we are able to. Otherwise, uh, if Krishna desires, he can actually not reveal himself in spite of hundreds of lifetimes of bhakti also. But that's not how he is. His nature is that he is pleased by bhakti. He has given that process. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yashchasmi dattva. Bhaktyaham ekayagrahi. He says that this is bhakti is the only process by which I can be understood. By bhakti you can know me abhijanati, abhitaha janati. You can know me completely. You can know me thoroughly. So this is his own mercy that he has offered this process. And that's why, because Sri Krishna has agreed, so bhakti process has that power to bring Krishna. By his own sweet will, the process of bhakti is actually under jurisdiction of Sri Radha, Srimati Radharani. So if Radharani is bestowing mercy on the sadhaka in that process, like process of bhakti, then Krishna is not able to say no. Krishna just uh, agrees to bestow his mercy on that devotee. So bhakti process is presided over by Srimati Radha. Like that. So that's a very, very special privilege of this process of bhakti. That one comes under the shelter of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet, and under those shelter, under that beautiful shelter, then one becomes competent in a way that one can attain the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, it's impossible to attain Krishna. It is not. It's only possible by his desire. This way, he just remains very difficult to be attained. So you see, this is his mercy only, and that's why a devotee is very prayerful in his bhakti. The prayers are the heart of bhakti, actually. See, if we are not prayerful, we will become very mechanical, right? There is this very beautiful class by His Holiness Radhanand Swami Maharaj, where he speaks about being mechanical in bhakti. Don't do things mechanically. That's the title of the lecture. And it's one of the, I mean, one of the greatest lectures by him. We have heard it so many times, hundreds of, not hundreds, but tens of times. Sorry, not hundreds, tens of times. Um, don't do things mechanical. So, prayerful attitude is that one which saves us from mechanical execution of it. If we are prayerful, then we see that we can't be mechanical. And if we are mechanical, then we can't be prayerful, isn't it? So that's why for a devotee, it's very important that the aspect of prayers is understood. So in these two prayers, prayer 15 and 16, the devotee is praying that, my dear Lord, you know, you are covered by this Hiranmaya Patra. So here Patra literally means a vessel, right? It's a common word, Patra. So you are covered by the golden vessel. So golden vessel here is referring to actually the Brahman effulgence. Brahman effulgence, it's like a brilliant, dazzling effulgence, like hundreds of suns. So devotee is praying, my dear Lord, I'm not interested in that effulgence. I am interested in you. So please remove that, please take away that Brahman effulgence, that dazzling effulgence covering you. And, please reveal yourself to me. Satyasya apihitam mukham. Satya here refers to the Supreme Lord. So that Supreme Lord's beautiful mukham, or which means the whole form, is apihitam. It is hidden. Hidden by what? By that golden vessel, by that golden effulgence, golden covering. So when Shri Krishna's form, it is actually covered by such an effulgence that it is like practically thousands of suns appearing simultaneously. You can imagine how will it be in the noon if you are looking directly at the sun, which is on our head. It's impossible to look at the sun, right? We may be able to look for a few seconds and then we have to take our eyes down. It is impossible because sun is so effulgent. I imagine crores of suns like that, and they appear simultaneously, and that much radiance is emitted from Krishna's body. Uh, that's the aspect of Brahma Jyoti, and that emanates from Sri Krishna's body. So how can one witness the beautiful form of Krishna then, right? So the devotee is praying, my dear Lord, your beautiful form is covered with this effulgence, but I am interested in, uh, seeing your beautiful form and glorifying your beautiful name, rendering service unto your beautiful form and your devotees. So, my dear Lord, please reveal that beautiful Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of yours to me. Tattvam Pushan Apavrunu. Pushan, Pusha means one who is a maintainer. Poshan karta hai. That is Pusha. So when you address him, that's called Pushan. Hey, Pusha. Oh sustainer, oh nourisher. That's the meaning. So Krishna is nourishing everyone, right? He is nourishing the entire world. Vishwambhara. He is Vishwambhara. He is nourishing, living beings who are trees, animals, humans, yogis, jnanis, and finally devotees also, by giving them the fruits of their efforts, by giving them the resources. So, oh sustainer, oh maintainer, Lord, please, apavrunu, please kindly remove um, that tat. Tat means that covering, that dazzling effulgence. Satya dharmaya drishtaye, so that you can show your beautiful forms to Satya dharma. That's a devotee. Satya dharma here means a devotee. Satya dharma, because devotee holds that Lord in the heart, Satya. तो जो सत्य को धारण करता है वो सत्य धर्म, like that the meaning is there. No? Because first we saw, no, Satya here refers to Supreme Lord. Lord is known as Satya. तो सत्य धर्म क्या हुआ? सत्य धर्म यानी जो सत्य को धारण करता है. One who holds that Lord within his heart. That's a devotee. So for the sake of the devotee, your devotee, and the Rishi is praying here that, my dear Lord, please, you remove your effulgence. I, being a devotee, I'm not interested in that effulgence, my Lord. I'm interested in your beautiful form, right? So you see, a devotee is interested in personal attributes of the Lord. We are not interested in Lord or his energies much, especially material energies or Brahman effulgence or like that. We are interested in Lord and his spiritual energy. We are interested in Lord and his spiritual energy as humble servant of that particular energy. So we are interested in Krishna and his associates, Radharani, Nanda Baba, Yashoda, all the beautiful associates of the Supreme Lord, as humble servant of them. We are interested in that. So that's why a devotee is praying here that, my dear Lord, please take away that Brahman effulgence. We just want to have darshan of your beautiful form. So, as a devotee, do we aspire for darshan of the Lord? So we do aspire actually. We do aspire. But we don't aspire without proper process of qualification. See, Bhaktisiddhanta said, do not try to see Krishna, but serve him in such a way that he wants to see you. So someone may feel like, so does a devotee want to see Krishna or not? Does the devotee want to see Krishna or not? Actually, a devotee does want to see Krishna, but he doesn't want to see Krishna without pleasing him or without serving him. It's an aspiration that a devotee has. Like here also, the devotee is praying that may Lord manifest that beautiful form. You pray in your Damodar Ashtakam also, right? Sada me manasya virastam kimanyay namamishwaram sachi danandarupam lasat kundalam gokule bhajaman. So, there also you see Satyavrat Muni is praying for that form may be manifested in my heart. May that beautiful form of Bal Gopal that always be in front of my eyes. So the point is, as a devotee, we want to serve Krishna, please him, witness his beautiful form, but all that for the purpose of serving him, and not for the purpose of enjoying him, or not for the purpose as like giving some order to Krishna. Oh, manifest in front of him, me. Prabhupada did not like a particular prayer from Vrindavan where the devotee is sort of ordering Krishna that you come and dance in my courtyard. Prabhupada would say that this is not appropriate to instruct Krishna like that. We can only pray to Krishna that may you manifest yourself in my heart. May you manifest yourself in front of my eyes. So The hankering of a devotee is there certainly to witness beautiful form of Krishna, but it is all for the purpose of service. That's the point. So when Bhaktisiddhanta says, don't try to see Krishna, it doesn't mean that we never ever aspire to see Krishna. No, that's not how it is. It means that we aspire to serve Krishna, and by that service, for his pleasure, in that manner, we want to see Krishna. We want to witness Krishna's wonderful pastimes and all that from that angle. Understand? So the whole focus is of service. His darshan is also for the service, so that we can see that form, we can glorify that form, we can announce to the whole world that how beautiful is Sri Krishna in that way. So the devotee in this way praise for Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela to be manifested. So same way with Nama also, let the sweetness of Shri Krishna's holy name be manifested, right? Do we not pray like that when we chant, my dear Lord, please give me the taste for the holy name? Huh? Why are we praying like that? We are praying because we want to serve Krishna by chanting his holy names. So similarly, when a devotee prays that, please, my Lord, please reveal yourself, please manifest yourself, that is for what? That is also for service. So Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Seva. So Jiva Goswami speaks about this in one of the Bhakti Sandarbha Anucchedas, that how a devotee desires uh, to attain Krishna. Krishna is beautiful. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Seva. So you can see that here also the devotee is praying like that. That's why he's praying like that. So let's see the themes. Mantra 15. Krishna is the basis of Brahman and Paramatma. That's para 1. Bhushan. Satya Dharmaya Drashtaye. How Krishna reveals himself beyond the Brahman. That's para 2 to 5. And finally, how the ultimate revelation of Bhagavan comes only by Bhakti. Bhakti only can reveal Bhagavan. Nobody. No other process. That's way. So those are the themes you can see. So out of this, Krishna is the basis of Brahman and Paramatma. We have already seen this theme. We have studied also. We discussed in detail Brahman, Paramatma. So Prabhupada begins by saying, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord explains that his personal rays, Brahmajyoti, the dazzling effulgence of his personal form. Krishna is the basis of that impersonal Brahman. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. You see? See these Mayavadis or impersonalists, sometimes they say, Krishna is Brahman is the source of Krishna. Brahman is the support of Krishna. But you see in Gita, it is so clear, no? Brahmano hi pratishtha. Krishna. Pratishtha means support. No? Pratishtha means support. Brahmanaha means of the Brahman. I am the support of Brahman. ब्रह्मणो ही प्रतिष्ठा अहम. ब्रह्मन मेरा आधार है, भगवान नहीं कह रहे. ब्रह्म ज्योति मेरा आधार. ऐसा दिखाते हैं लोग. आपने भारत में देखा होगा, ऐसे ज्योति दिखाएंगे और उससे भगवान निकल रहे, राधा कृष्ण. उल्टा है वो. भगवान जो है उनसे ज्योति निकल रही है. ऐसे दिखाना चाहिए. ज्योति से भगवान नहीं निकल रहे. ब्रह्मणो ही प्रतिष्ठा हम. मैं जो हूं, आई एम द सपोर्ट ऑफ इम्पर्सनल ब्रह्म. Brahman is rooted on me. It's supported on me, like that. So this idea of Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, we have studied in quite some detail, right? So I'll not go much into that because we have done it. Okay, do you remember those 3 examples that we spoke on Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan? Who remains? Who remembers those examples? Does anybody remember what all examples we studied to explain these three features? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Yes, please speak.
Prabhuji?
Who is that? Srinath,
Yes,
is
Prabhuji.
that you?
Yes,
Yes, please
Prabhuji.
speak.
Prabhuji, like I remember two examples. One of them is about a mountain, Prabhuji.
Mountain, very nice. Okay, what's the
Like,
other one? Yeah, you
and the
got
other
it.
one, uh,
That's okay.
other one is samosa.
Okay. Yes, the other one is the edible item, samosa or something like that, where we have increasing revelation of its glory. Someone may only
And
see, then someone may smell, and then finally someone may touch and eat. All right. So, and you got now
and
third one also.
yeah, third one. Yes, Prabhuji, that I still remember Sitish answered. So like, it was about a musical concert about like,
So very nice musical
yes,
concert. So Rajendra Prabhu, I think he also remembered. He had raised the hand. Thank you, Prabhu. So yes, those are the three examples, right? I spoke
yes,
on. So remember these examples. These are very nice examples to explain Brahman. The
yes.
mountain example, then the food item example, and also the music concert example. So Pushan, Lord is the sustainer of everything. So Prabhupada begins by telling that how we see that everything, I mean, Lord is basis of even Brahman and Paramatma, both these aspects like that. Then he starts speaking about the aspect that how Krishna reveals himself beyond the Brahman to a devotee. So Krishna reveals that he is beyond Brahman also. His leelas are most joyful. Huh? So you see, now from para 2 onwards, that's the theme. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is always filled with transcendental bliss, Anandamaya Vyasa. The killings of various demons such as Aghabaka, Putana, Palamba were but pleasure excursions for him. In his village of Vrindavana, he enjoyed himself with his mother, brother, friends, everyone. Right? So you see, Krishna's leelas in the spiritual world and that he manifests in Vrindavan, they are like so joyful that hearing those leelas, those who are on the path of Brahman or like that, even they give up their Brahman meditation. Krishna attracted the devotees who were into, Krishna attracted all sorts of devotees, all sorts of people, right? Krishna, the name itself is Sarvana Karshayati, Sarvan Karshayati. Krish Dhatu means to pull, to attract. Krishna, so it has two dhatus. Uh, so one is Krish and the another one is Rana. So Krish means to pull and Rana means to give joy. So Krishna pulls ourselves towards him and gives joy. That's Krishna. Jiva Goswami gives this definition. It's a famous definition. Ni Rana Nirvati Vachakaha Rishi Shabda Bhuarthar Bhuvachakata. So anyway, what you need to remember is Krishna means one who pulls everyone to himself and blesses with the joy, happiness. So naturally, Krishna, we see that in his abode of Vrindavan, he manifests such beautiful pastimes, right? The pastimes of killing these demons and such beautiful other pastimes like Govardhan Leela, like Rasa Leela, like blessing the wives of Brahmanas. It's so many beautiful Leelas. In 10th canto, first 40 chapters, they are Sri Krishna's Braja Leela. Middle 10 chapters, they are Sri Krishna's Mathura Leela. And last 40 chapters are Krishna's Dwaraka Leela. 40, 10, 40. Very symmetric. 10th canto is very symmetric. So the first 40 chapters, it is Krishna's Braja Leela. And it is such a description of Krishna's beautiful, beautiful past. It's just full of pleasure. That's it. In Dwaraka Leela, Krishna brings up the duty aspect. Krishna's duty aspect comes in Dwaraka Leela. Also in Mathura Leela, somewhat. But in Dwaraka, it is very prominent. But you see, Vraja Leela, just joy. It's just Ananda Vrindavan. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. It's just full of so much joy, actually. And that's why Kavi Karnapur wrote a book called Ananda Vrindavana Champu. And by Vrindavan तो आनंद से भरा हुआ है. तो उस आनंदमय वृंदावन को गुणगान करने वाला ग्रंथ इसको बोलते हैं चंपू. चंपू एक विशेष ग्रंथ होता है जिसमें पोएट्री भी होती है और प्रोज भी होता है. That's called champu. The word champu means that. So whenever a book has prose and poetry, then you call it a champu. So like Gopala Champu, Ananda Vrindavan Champu. So Sri Krishna, what I want to say is, he shows through his pastimes that how his pastimes, they are much, much superior to material world's pleasure. What to speak of, some sinful life. Even the so-called material pleasure, uh, it is nothing in front of Krishna Leela. Even Brahman pleasure, Brahmananda is nothing. Sri Krishna's pastimes are so superior that even those who are Brahman realized people, they get attracted to Krishna. Atma Ramascha Munayo, Nirgrantha Purukrame, Purvantya hai tukim bhaktim, Itham Bhuta Gunapari. इत्थम भूत गुणों, ऐसे गुणों वाले हैं हरि कि आत्मा रामश्चपि अहेतुकी भक्ति कुर्वन्ति, कि आत्माराम लोग भी भगवान की भक्ति कर देते हैं. इतना ऐसे ऐसे गुणों वाले हैं हरि. He had such attractive qualities. So this is the point that Prabhupada is bringing up. The Lord created these pastimes to attract the dry speculators and the acrobats. Very choice words of Prabhupada. The acrobats of the so-called Hatha Yoga system. Prabhupada would call the yogis as spiritual gymnasts. Very peculiar usage of Prabhupada, very funny usage. Here also he's calling them as acrobats, acrobatic people. Right. So spiritual gymnastics or acrobats. Bhakti, the process of Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's bhakti process is so wonderful. That this Hatha yogis and this Jnanis, mental speculators, they are also attracted to Shri Krishna's bhakti. Hatha yoga is see, when you have Ashtanga yoga, right? When you only practice first four limbs, then it's called Hatha yoga. Yama, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, then it's called Hatha yoga. Otherwise, there are 8 limbs actually in that process. But if you focus on first 4 limbs only, that becomes Hatha yoga. So it's not a complete process actually. Hat se, Hatha means force. By force, you want to conquer your senses. Yama, Niyam, Asan mein baith ke, pranayams. That's why it's called Hatha. Hat se. We don't want to conquer our mind by Hatha. We want to conquer our mind by mantra. Mana trayate iti mantra. भगवान के नामों से हम लोग मन को नियंत्रण कर सकते हैं. केवल हट से नहीं होगा, केवल जोर जबरदस्ती नहीं चलेगी, है कि नहीं? अर्जुन also said, चंचलम ये मन कृष्ण प्रमाति बलवत्. इतना मुश्किल है जैसे वायु वसुदुष्कर. तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोः इव सुदुष्कर. वायु के जैसा. But how can you defeat the mind? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena च गृह्यते. Krishna also recognized it's very difficult to conquer the mind. Asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam vairagyena tu kaunteya abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chandrayate. Abhyas and vairagya. So that abhyas shows the aspect of bhakti, positive aspect of bhakti, and vairagya shows being detached from the material world, regulative principles. That is vairagya. And chanting Hare Krishna, serving devotees, that is abhyas. So you have to combine these two, then you can conquer the mind. So Krishna, he comes in this world so as to attract all these people by showing the joy of bhakti. That's how it is. That's why Krishna is Ananda, Akhila Rasamrit Murti. He is Ananda Ghana, Ananda Chinmaya Murti. You have heard all these words. Satchidananda Ghana. It all means the same thing, that he is just a form of condensed bliss. His pastimes, his leelas are so wonderful. That kind of joy is not there in any other process. When we devotees, we hear Krishna Katha, it is so beautiful, right? Nrsimha Lord, Nrsimha's appearance is coming. So, such beautiful Katha. Or we heard on Ramanavami, or we Janmashtami when it comes, such beautiful, especially Krishna Leela is like ecstatic. It is extraordinarily sweet. So Krishna is attracting everyone that you hear my Leelas, Shravanam, Kirtanam, you see, you will have so much joy. Everything will go away. Shoka, Moha, Bhaya, everything. So in this way. Since it is said that Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavan Dham, one may ask how he manages the affairs of the creation. So while Krishna is busy in performing Leelas in the spiritual world, how does the Srishti Leela happen? Prabhupada is addressing. Well, that Srishti Leela is taken care by Lord's expansion, known as Paramatma. So Paramatma does Srishti Leela. Krishna does Ananda Leela. He enjoys in the spiritual world. Or he comes here also, he enjoys. So Shri Krishna's Leela, how it is greatest joy, that is being explained by Prabhupada. How Krishna reveals himself beyond the Brahman. Joy in Krishna consciousness, joy in Krishna Leela is even beyond the joy of Brahman. Somebody meditating on that all-pervading, nirvishesh, impersonal, that sort of existence of the Lord. So that doesn't have that much joy. The joy of the joy of service is very great. So for that, what one has to do, one has to practice the process of it. If one wants to see the absolute truth in full, one has to penetrate beyond the 24 material elements and the glaring effulgence as well. Sri Ishopanishad points towards this direction, praying for the removal of Hiranmaya Patra, the dazzling covering of the Lord. So Upanishads may glorify Brahman, or they may glorify, sometimes Shastras may glorify higher planets. But you see, the point is, here Sri Ishopanishad is telling one has to go beyond even that impersonal effulgence and aspire to serve the Lord. So very clearly Ishopanishad is establishing personal form of the Lord. This is one of the very important verses. Even before also personal form has been established in that middle section very clearly. But here it is like so clear, crystal clear, where the Rishi is clearly saying here, praying that, please remove this effulgence. I am not interested in it. I am interested in your personal form. This one. So you see, that's why Ishopanishad is establishing personalism. It is telling us to go beyond impersonalism. Now, very clearly, this verse, next verse also will say the same thing. And the process to do that is the process of bhakti, the process of serving Krishna, like that. So Prabhupada, he speaks about these features of Brahman Paramatma and the processes to achieve them. Unlike Brahman effulgence is achieved through the process of Jnana, Paramatma is achieved through the process of yoga and all that. But as a pure devotee or as a practitioner of Bhakta who is aspiring for pure devotional service, we want to go beyond that. The yoga system reaches the serious student to meet the Vishnu Tattvas after going beyond the 24 material elements. So those who are worshipping Paramatma, they are worshipping the Vishnu Tattvas, three with Purushas, the Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Karmadakshai Vishnu, and all that. And those who are Jnanis, they are worshipping Brahmajyoti. But beyond that is Shri Krishna, like that. So Prabhupada quotes, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti कोटिष्वशेषवसुधादि विभूति भिन्नम तद ब्रह्मनिष्कलम अनंतम अशेष भूतम गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहं भजामि. So this verse proves that how Shri Krishna is source of even that Brahma Jyoti effulgence. In that Brahma Jyoti, millions of planets are floating, but Lord is the one who is source of that Brahma. Brahma Jyoti is what? Lord is the source of that. Brahma Jyoti is effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. So this is why that verse is being quoted again by Prabhupada. This mantra from the Brahma Samhita is spoken from the platform of factual realization of absolute truth. Because Brahmaji, after he got darshan of the Supreme Lord, then he prayed with Brahma Samhita. First he meditated on the Lord, then Lord revealed him the abode, and then he described the abode. That is Brahma Samhita. That's it. So that's why Prabhupada says it is from the platform of factual realization. It is factual realization of Brahmaji. The Ishopanishad mantra is a simple prayer to the Lord to remove the Brahma Jyoti so that one can see his real face. So he quotes other Upanishads also, Mundak Upanishad, where the Brahma Jyoti is described. So these famous verses from Mundak Upanishad are there. But the point is that we are interested in the personal form of the Lord. So that's the theme that Prabhupada is saying. How the ultimate revelation of Bhagavan comes only by bhakti. That's the point. Perfect knowledge means knowing Krishna as the root of this Brahman effulgence. More or less, that's the theme of this verse. You can see. He's bringing back that theme again and again. That Krishna is the root of Brahman effulgence. Bhakti is the process to achieve it. Personal form is the highest. This way. So how do we get that bhakti process? This knowledge can be gained from scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam. The best book to understand the knowledge of karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti, like that. So this particular aspect of getting the knowledge from devotional scriptures is being also glorified over here. The conclusion is that one who has no knowledge of potencies of Supreme Truth will realize the impersonal Brahman, right? Impersonal Brahman is that feature where there is no potency. When you only talk about material potency, creation, then that's Paramatma. When you talk about all the potency, including spiritual world, that is Bhagavan. That's the difference between these three features. This way. So Prabhupada also very systematically he has put it here. You can see. Impersonal Brahman means no knowledge of potency. One only realizes material potency means Paramatma. Paramatma yani only Srishti Leela. And you don't talk about Paramatma's pastimes. Because that realization is only up to that level. As a creator, maintainer, destroyer. But beyond that is Krishna, who has such beautiful pastimes of spiritual world. So that's why that's the highest. This way. It is stated that the jnanis, those who have cultivated Vedic knowledge, are better than ordinary footy workers. So Prabhupada is ending with Bhagavad Gita, which mentions that how the jnanis, they are superior to karmis. See, vikarmis are the lowest, you remember. Karmis are higher. Jnanis are higher to karmis. Yogis are higher to jnanis. And bhaktas are highest. So why is that jnanis are higher than karmis? Because karmis stay only in the material world. They can't think anything beyond material. But jnanis, they talk about destination beyond material. But then jnanis, they restrict themselves only to Brahman effulgence. That's why yogis are better, because at least yogi realizes the personal form, Paramatma. But bhaktas are superior to yogis also because not only bhakta realizes personal form, but he also actively serves that person. He doesn't only meditate on the Lord, he serves that Lord actively. Practical service. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. That's the point of this verse. In summary, a philosopher is better than a laboring man. A mystic is superior to a philosopher. And of all the mystic yogis, he follows Bhakti Yoga. And that's the last verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Actually, it's a good practice when you are reading Prabhupada books. Try to understand this is coming from some scripture, this is coming from Gita, this is coming from Bhagavatam. Of course, for that you will have to read also Prabhupada books a lot. But many times Prabhupada, he just translates the verses and puts them in his purport. So this whole discussion is from 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, last 2-3 verses. Yoginam api sarvesham matkatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate. What is that? Shraddhavan bhajate. Okay, I forgot the last line. Sometimes with teaching Bhagavatam too much, I forget some Gita verses. It happens. So sorry for that. All right, but yes, this is 647. So the point is, uh, the process of bhakti is the highest because that gives the personal service. Right. So this is what is the discussion of this verse. And then the next verse is very similar, extremely similar in this, uh, uh, what you can say, discussion also. So I'm going to take this and then we can pause for some time. Then we will discuss the last 2 verses. Okay, so mantra 16. This will be done very quickly because it is similar. Ushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya viharashmin samoha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yosavaso purusha sohamasmi. This verse is it's more like a prose actually. It's not exactly in the typical poetry fashion. So, okay, who wants to read? Rajendra Kumar Prabhu, you want to read?
Hey
Yes,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Okay, Mataji, please read.
O my
Yeah.
Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as I am. as am I.
Was that Dimple?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Very
Hare Krishna.
nice. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I know all of you now, so I recognize the voice. Sometimes when you begin or you ask for reading, I don't recognize, but when you read it, then I recognize. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for reading nice. Okay. So Ushan Nekarshe Namasurya. So you see, these are all various addresses to the Lord. Bhushan, that's the same address like before. O maintainer, O nourisher. Ekarshe, O primeval philosopher. Ekarshi, that original Rishi, the Lord is the greatest philosopher, right? Uh, he is the one who controls everyone, regulating principle, Yama, Surya. He is the destination of the great devotees, so that's why he is known as Surya. Prajapatya, because he is naturally the well-wisher of the Prajapatis. So these are all words which are used for the Lord. And now the prayer is there. Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejo. This is the prayer. Rashmin Vyuha. Rashmi is the ray. So please take away the rays. रश्मियों को हटाइए, तेज को अंतर्धान कीजिए, तेजो समूह, रश्मिन व्यूह. So it's the prayer to withdraw that effulgence and remove these rays that are covering his vision. Yadte rupam kalyantamam. My dear Lord, your rupa is kalyanatama. It's the most auspicious thing in the whole world. Tatte pashyami. That I want to see, my Lord, that I wish to see. I may see that. Yo asau purushaha, yo asau purushaha. How does Prabhupada translate that? You are the eternal supreme personality. Basically, the verse is saying like this. Yo asau purushaha. Jo wo purush hai, so aham asmi, मैं भी वही हूँ. So you may wonder like, what is this? जो पुरुष है वो भगवान, वो मैं भी हूँ. Is it some sort of mayavad or something? No, it is not like that. See, if Lord and we, if Upanishad is saying that we are non-different from the Lord, what is the need of the prayer also, right? Is there any need of prayer? If one is same as the Lord, meaning Lord and we are identical, then what is the need of prayer? Who should pray to whom? So the whole prayer becomes meaningless if one claims that there is no difference between God and living entity. And then why should he pray then? Right? So the very fact that the Jiva is praying, the sage is praying here, the mantra drashta rishi is praying. So it means that it is showing this aspect that, my dear Lord, I also have the same nature. I also am spiritual particle. I am yours. Just as you are spiritual, my dear Lord, I am your spiritual particle. So please reveal your form to me. Please don't leave me in this material world. Please don't leave me in this matter. I am also a spirit soul and your spiritual particle. I am like you. So please reclaim me. That's the sense. Understand? That's the sense of this verse. Otherwise, this soham and such words, they are very favorite of Mayavadis. I was telling you, soham meditation. They do that soham meditation. We do dasoham meditation. Dasoham, dasosmi, dasos. Like that. This way. So, all right. So, here is. So, beyond Brahman is Bhagavan. That's the exact same theme. That's from the last verse. Bhagwan is the most auspicious realization. This is also same from the last verse. How the Lord maintains the devotees and everyone, that is described. How the living entity is one yet different from the Lord. Achinte Bheda Bhed. This also we have discussed. And finally, the favor of the Lord sought by this prayer is fulfilled in pure devotional service. What's the greatest prayer? What's the fulfillment of the greatest prayer? That's the pure devotional service, right? So that comes in the end. All right. So let's see this very quickly. So first two paragraphs, how Prabhupada explains that how Bhagavan realization is the highest. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitative. So this example of sun and sun ray very clearly like that. So this is another example to explain Brahman Paramatma Bhagavan. Add in your list this example also. Fourth example. Sun, then there is sun globe, and then there is sun rays. So Jiva Goswami explains this in Bhagavad Samvara, that he says the sun god is like Bhagavan, meaning Bhagavan can be compared to sun god. The sun globe, which is the abode of sun god, can be compared to Paramatma. The sun rays can be compared to Brahman. And the particles within sun rays, the molecules, the light molecules, the molecules of the sun's rays, they can be compared to the jivas, the living entities. This is also another example. Sun, sun's globe, sun rays, and finally, the particle or the molecules of the sun's rays. So this is how Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and additionally, he is adding the jivas also in that. If you just want to take Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, then just take sun, sun globe, and sun ray. That's it. This way. So that's how this example also explains. So sun god is the personal, right? Somebody goes to sun planet. So when you meet sun god, then it's like the highest revelation. If you just saw the sun's abode, then it's less complete. And if one sees just sunlight, then it is the least complete, isn't it? So that's how we see that. This example is showing also the aspect of the body. Okay. All right. Let's move ahead. Lord's form is the most complete realization, or is the most auspicious one. By realizing the impersonal Brahmajyoti, one experiences the auspicious aspect also. And by realizing Paramatma, one experiences an even more auspicious. But by meeting the person of Godhead himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious future. Is there anything greater than that? That's the highest realization one can have, right? And it's the most auspicious because it is proof of getting the love of God. Prema is the highest purushartha. No? So anything that shows the fulfillment of prema, that's the highest destination. That's the most auspicious thing. Can there be anything more auspicious than love of God? बाकी छोटे मोटे शुभ शुभाशुभ तो चलते रहते हैं इस दुनिया. So getting some money, getting good health, getting the good progeny, getting all this, it's some auspiciousness. But even higher auspicious than that is where one gets the knowledge of soul. That's a higher auspiciousness because that's jnana. Higher than that is where one gets the knowledge of Paramatma and one knows the process to achieve. And the highest is Sri Krishna because love of Godhead is the highest thing. There is nothing more auspicious than love of Godhead because it's like one is placed in its natural constitutional position. This way, right? Just like somebody is lost, father, prodigal son, you know the story from the Bible, story of a prodigal son. So when the son, he gets lost from the father or he goes away from the father, what is the most auspicious thing that you can give to that son? A son who has gone away from the father. So you can give him some clothes. You see him loitering in the street. So you can give him some clothes or some sort of uh, food. You may give clothes. You may give some money also, right? So all these are auspicious things in his life. You may give him a job also by which he can start earning. But can you tell what's the most auspicious thing for someone who has left his, you know, billionaire father? What help would be the greatest? Yeah, who wants to tell?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Danat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Prabhu, so in case if you want to really make the son happy, you have to return him back to his father.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vaibhav Krishna Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes. So that's the best thing, right? Can there be anything more auspicious than that? So that's why Prabhupada is saying, Kalyanatamam, to get darshan of Sri Krishna, to revive someone's Krishna consciousness so that one gets darshan of Krishna. Can there be anything higher than that? Nothing actually. Nothing. So all other attempts to help in this world are like all those other attempts. But devotees are like that. They are connecting everyone to, they themselves are getting connected to Supreme Lord first, and then they are connecting everyone to Krishna. So what can be greater benefit than that? What can be greater auspiciousness than that? Nothing else. So this is what Prabhupada is saying over here. Prabhupada is quoting Bhagavad Sandarbha actually. Prabhupada is talking about very beautiful meaning of this word Bhagavan. This is a wonderful section in Bhagavad Sandarbha. Sometime in Gita, I will explain this section. Very beautiful section. So Prabhupada says Bhagavan has two meanings. The first syllable of the word Bhagavan, Bha means one who fully maintains. And second meaning is guardian. That Bha has the sense of Bharta, maintenance. And also there is this sense of Rakshan, protection, guardian. And the Ga has the sense of guide or leader or creator. Vana indicates that every being lives with him, lives in him, and he also lives in every being. So the word Bhagavan, you can see, it means that one who is maintaining all the beings, protecting them, guiding them, all the living beings. There are also other definitions of Bhagavan, like the famous definition of Bhagavan that Prabhupada gives: infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence. Huh? When I was having difficulty, when initially we became devotees, so 6 opulences I wanted to remember. Huh? And I was not remembering only 6 opulences. I tried to memorize the verse also, but I was forgetting verse also. Later I memorized everything. But my teacher was very practical. So he said, you want to memorize 6 opulences? So he said, I give you 2 short forms, SKF, BRR. This is a small thing. Some of you may feel like, what am I telling you? This is such a general knowledge. But I'm telling, when this was first year of my Krishna consciousness, I was forgetting. So what are the 6 opulences of Krishna? Who is Bhagavan? One who has these 6 opulences in full and for eternity. So SKF, BRR. So this is how I remembered. Then SKF is strength, knowledge, fame, and BRR is beauty, riches, renunciation. Riches means wealth. So beauty, riches means wealth, renunciation. SKF BRR. So later I never forgot in my life that abbreviation, because for some time uh, I was working near a company called SKF. So SKF, there is a bearing company in India called SKF Ball Bearing. And BRR was our place where we used to read. It was like a library in the center. Bhakti Vedanta reading room, BRR. So SKF, BRR became like permanently etched in my mind. Strength, knowledge, fame, beauty, riches, renunciation. Six opulences of Krishna. That's Bhagavan. That is Bhagavan. One who possesses that, that's the definition of the word Bhagavan. So as soon as you say Bhagavan, then you remember this definition. When it is applied for somebody like Narada or Shukadev, then there is a different definition. But you can understand that it is basically those who are empowered by Bhagavan are also called as Bhagavan. So in that sense, it is used for Narada, Shukadev, such personalities also, although they are living entities. But they're special. They're Shaktyavesha. Like Narada is Shaktyavesha. Shukadev is special, no doubt, because of being a great devotee, pure devotee. So that's Bhagavan. Prabhupada is telling from Bhagavad Samvaya. So we are discussing how the Lord maintains the devotees and everyone and everything else. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord face to face by his causeless mercy. Thus the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet. So Lord is helping everyone. He is maintaining everyone. He maintains an ant. He maintains an elephant. He maintains the non-devotees by giving the result of their karma. He maintains a jnani by giving the result of his process. He maintains yogi. He maintains bhakta by giving the result of his process of, by agreeing to accept him in his own abode. So this is how Krishna is maintaining everyone. You see his maintenance. He is maintainer of everyone. But maintenance of everyone doesn't mean he will give the same benefit to everyone. And that is lack of discrimination. That is lack of discretion, I would say. So Krishna is not a aviveki. Krishna has discretion, but he is not partial. Try to understand. This is a very subtle point I'm saying. Krishna is not uh, partial, but he has discretion. So he is going to give the benefit as you approach him, as you follow the process. Ye yathamam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajami. So Krishna is not partial. He loves his devotees, but he's not stopping anyone from becoming devotee. You understand? Is he stopping, he's barring anyone from becoming devotee? No. But once you become his devotee, he's going to be very specially dealing with you. So nobody can complain. Non-devotees cannot complain. Oh, Krishna is loving his devotees, but he does not love us, or he is very partial to his devotees. No, he is not stopping anyone, right? Like Prabhupada gave such an example. Beautiful. Prabhupada's examples are so good. Uh, I just love them sometimes. They just make the whole point clear. Prabhupada would say, sun is not partial, right? But if you are hiding yourself in the dark room and you say, just see, sun is so partial, sun is not giving light to me, but outside that fellow is there, sun is giving so much light and nourishing. So by putting yourself in dark room, can you say that sun is being partial? No, you come out in sunlight. Who has stopped you? And you come out in sunlight, you get whatever that uh, vitamin D or whatever you want and be nourished. So the point is this, that sun is not partial, uh, but you have to be in sunlight. You are not barred from coming in sunlight. If you want to be in dark room, then how can you expect it? So that's Krishna's nature. He is ready to bestow all favors, but provided you become his devotee. If you don't become his devotee, then he has other way of reciprocation. Then he deals with karma. For non-devotees, Krishna deals through Maya. For devotees, Krishna deals through Radharani, through Yoga Maya, through Lakshmi ji, through Sita ji. So that's how. So we have a choice. Either we accept Mahamaya or we accept Devi Maya, Shri Krishna's personal shelter of whose we have to decide whose shelter we want. Do we want Durga's Trishul? Durga holds Trishula, right? She, and there is Radharani who is holding such a beautiful lotus flower that we can place in her hand so that she can offer it to Krishna. So we want to take shelter of Lakshmi ji, Srimati Radharani, Mother Sita. We don't want to be beaten up by Durga, Klesha, Trivid Kleshas. So Krishna is nourishing everyone. It's your choice. How do you want to get nourished? Through his agency of Maya, or do you want to get nourished through his spiritual energy? This is the point. All right. Coming to this aspect of Soham Ahamasmi, I am also the same. When she is praying like that, what does that mean? It means that qualitative oneness, not quantitative. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self, and because some of them desire to be Lord's, he allows them to enter into the cosmic creation and fully utilize the propensity. So we are differentiated part and parcels, but because of our desire to enjoy, we are in this material world and we are suffering. The whole process of bhakti is to reform this mentality of independent enjoyment and attain and become interested in Krishna's enjoyment. It's for reformation. It's like a hospital when we get rid of this enjoying mentality and we develop the service mentality. And that is purification. To go from service mentality, to go from enjoying mentality to service mentality. When we become fully pure, then we become qualified to go back to God, spiritual world. Yes, so that's the thing. So only bhakti process, that's the point. Prabhupada is ending with this Kathopanishad, very famous, Yam vrunate tena eva labhyah, sa yam eva yesha vrunute tameva labhyah. Lord can be known by or attained by someone whom Lord chooses, whom Lord accepts. That's the Kathopanishad verse. The Lord can be known only by those whom he favors. Yam yeva yesha vrunute, vrunute, one who favors, one who accepts. Only those can understand Krishna, not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only. Sri Ishopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the majority. Okay. So these special favors are available for the devotees. And that's why this devotee is praying. The Rishi is praying that may this Brahmajyoti be removed and may I get the favor of the Lord. So you see, these are the prayers basically bestowing or asking for Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Seva. It's not that the devotee only wants to see the form of the Lord. No? He wants to see the form of the Lord, glorify it, and glorify that beauty, speak it to the whole world, and serve that form, fan that form, whatever, n number of ways by which we can serve. And with that desire, he is praying like that. That please remove this dark, not darkness, but the effulgence. Like, so that's how these two prayers are. So that completes the discussion of mantra 60. So here we are now, 2 verses still to go, and we have I have spoken for 2.5 hours. So should we go on? Because I'm okay to go on, but I'm just worrying about you because today I took some rest in the daytime because I knew I had to go a little bit late night. So I can take about 30, 45 minutes more to finish this 2 verses. But Braj Prakash, what do you want me to do?
Prabhu, I can request all devotees. They can tell their convenience, Prabhuji. So,
Yes, Prabhu, because I tried to cover this set of verses, but whatever, like with my speed, I could cover till now 3 verses.
we are very grateful, Prabhuji. You are giving so much, Prabhuji, so much wonderful knowledge and taking so much time, Prabhu. So that's really your mercy, Prabhuji. So I'll ask Vaibhav Krishna Prabhuji and devotee from Salmia because I'm sitting with the camp devotees, ashram devotees. So they have tomorrow morning duty, but half an hour they can give. Not a problem.
They can give.
Yes, yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Vaibhav Krishna Prabhu is raising hand.
Prabhu,
हाँ,
I
तो
feel
वहाँ
we all are absolutely indebted to you. In India, it is 12, and you are ready to eagerly, with all your enthusiasm, give your time. Of course, here it's just 9.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so we would like to
Sometimes I
definitely
do
go
that,
for it.
Prabhu. I have to teach students from outside India, so sometimes I
Thank
go
you.
late night, but yeah, not so
Thank you,
much.
bro.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're really indebted, so, and we would like to definitely continue because again there will be a gap, a big gap. So once we finish this, then we will be equally ready to give our first test on 18th.
Sure.
Thank you,
Sure.
bro.
If
That's
what
me. I would like to hear from other devotees as well. Thank you.
as
Hare
as
Krishna.
Prabhuji said, Braj Prakash Prabhu himself said that they won't mind spending half an hour more. So let's do it. Last
yes,
two
Prabhu. Please,
verses
Prabhu.
only. That's
Please, Prabhu. Please. Yes, Prabhuji.
then I also from next, basically from Monday I start teaching Bhakti Vedant where I am teaching 10th canto. So then it will be difficult for me also to take out time. Yeah, I think it's best we complete. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. So speaking is easy, probably. Listening online for 3 hours, it's difficult. So thank you for
No,
listening.
bro, you are
Let's
giving so many wonderful examples, and I believe that is really keep us going, and that is really giving us so much of inspiration to move forward, bro. Thank you so much, bro. And Ram.
okay. Thank you, bro. Thank you. So let's complete now these last 2 verses, 17 and 18. Mantra 17. Vayuranilam amritam athedam bhasmantam shariram Om Kratosmara Kritam Smara Kratosmara Kritam Smara. Okay. Yes, please read the translation. Anyone wants to read? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, bro. Then Ram. May I attempt, bro? If you
Yeah,
allow me?
please.
Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you.
Thank you. So very interesting prayer, right? Last two prayers, Prabhus, Mataji's, everyone. Last two prayers, they talk about this is a prayer by the devotee to offer liberation. The devotee is praying that, my Lord, see, this first and foremost, this is a prayer which is being offered at the last moment of one's life. It's like leading a life, one towards the end of his life, one offers a prayer. So that's the mood and context of the prayer. It's a prayer of a devotee who is about to give up his body. So when we say liberation, so as a devotee, we are not interested in liberation, right? So there you can take basically appropriate meaning, like this is a prayer to attain the association of the Lord. It's a Jnana Mishra Bhakti prayer, actually speaking. Technically speaking, this is as per Bhakti Thakur. These two prayers are Jnana Mishra Bhakti. But a devotee follows pure Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti, not a Jnana Mishra Bhakti. So we don't pray for any liberation, but we can pray to the Lord for giving us his association, his devotees' association. So the spirit in which the prayers are, they are showing that a devotee is praying to the Lord that my devotional service, my Lord, may have been fraught with so many difficulties, so many errors. I was not up to the mark. And here I am now at the fag end of my life. I'm standing in front of you, Krishna. Please, my Lord, please remember the service that I have done to you. It might be full of faults, Krishna, but you are somebody who is bhavagrahi. You are somebody who just takes the good and leaves the bad. So, my Lord, please forgive me for my faults. Forgive me for whatever mistakes I have done. And whatever service I rendered, my Lord, please remember that and please accept me as humble servant of your servants. So the sense of the prayer is not so much like, भगवान याद रखना मैंने क्या क्या किया याद रखो भूलने का नहीं भगवान. It's not in that sense. Right? The prayer is in a very humble, beseeching mood. It's a mood of beseeching. Right? So that's how. So, Krato Smara, Kratam Smara. In fact, Krato word here can also refer to mind. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan, they say this verse can also mean that it's an instruction to the mind. Oh, mind, remember. Remember that service that you have rendered, and now it's the time to focus on that aspect. So don't forget now. Before you render service, this is the last part. This is like the final exam. Imagine a student who has studied so well throughout the year, and in the final exam only he is distracted. Is it not a defeat? Final exam, that fellow got distracted. It's not good. So life is preparation, death is the examination. So at that time, he's reminding his mind, oh mind, please remember. That's another meaning of the verse. But you take the meaning that Prabhupada has given. Krato here being the address to Sri Krishna, Sri Vishnu, Narayana. So even though devotee is praying to the Lord that please remember, my Lord, these services. So it's in this sense, you understand, it's in this sense of if you feel something good I have done, my dear Lord, you please take only that. If my devotional service was with full of faults, my Lord, please neglect it, because you have such a genuine nature. Your nature is that you always see the good. So please see that aspect of good, my Lord. And my faults, please forgive me. Aparad Shodhan, right? How we pray in the Aparad Shodhana in deity worship. Those who do deity worship, they know this. The Aparad Sahastrani Kriyante Harnisham Maya Dasuham Itimam Matva Kshamasva Madhusudan. Day and night, hundreds, thousands of offenses are done by me. But dasoham iti mam matva, considering that I am humble servant of your servants, please, my Lord, kshamasva, please forgive me. And that's the prayer we say at the end of the deity worship. So this is also, deity worship ending here. I mean, our life, entire life is worship of that deity, right? Whatever service we are doing, it's the worship of our beloved Sri Krishna. So when that life is ending, the devotee is praying that Vayur Anilam Amritam, let the air of my life, let my life airs merge into those original life airs. Mukhya Prana, Athedam Bhasmantam Shariram, and let the other gross elements of my body, let them turn to uh, the gross elements, the ashes. Right? Our body is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. So the air merges into that original air, and the air by here means the subtle air. We mean pranas. Okay, you don't have to worry about those details. It's okay. Uh, Vayur Anilam doesn't mean the gross air. Here it means the subtle air. So the pranas, it means the pranas, life airs, like that. So let subtle body go to that aspect of subtle body, and let the gross body go to the gross aspect. But you remember me, my Lord. Om Kritos Smara. Hey Kratu, hey Bhagwan. Uh, please remember that service that I have rendered. Kritam Smara, Kritam, जो मैंने किया आपके लिए, थोड़ी बहुत सेवा की, छोटी मोटी सेवा, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है वो, और उसमें दोष ही दोष है. लेकिन हे भगवान, आप याद रखिए. Please, you remember. It's a very, it's actually our condition, isn't it? This is how it is. Our life is like that. You remember that beautiful pastime where, who was that? No. Mahapurna or Goshti Purna. Uh, One of the Purnas, who is Ramanujacharya's spiritual master, Mahapurna, Goshti Purna, one of them was asked by a devotee to ask Varadraj, one who was serving Varadraj. Maybe Braj Prakash Prabhu may know. Who was that Prabhu? Who was serving Varadraj
Prabhu, it's a
Swami?
Goshtipurna.
It's Goshtipurna only, right?
Yes, Goshti Purna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Goshtipurna, yeah. So Goshtipurna was asked by one of the devotees to ask Varadraj Swami that please ask him this question, that after rendering a lifetime of service, what if at the end of the life we are not able to remember you, my Lord? What will happen? Right? यम यम वापि स्मरण भावम त्यजत्यंते कलेवरम, कृष्ण ने तो बोल दिया, तम तम एवेति कौन्तेय सदा तद भाव भव. हाँ? आप जो अंत में सोचोगे, जिसका स्मरण करोगे, वही भाव प्राप्त होगा. तो क्या करें अगर जीवन भर भगवान का स्मरण किया लेकिन अंत काल में ही स्मरण नहीं कर पाए? What will happen? So this devotee wanted Goshtipurna to ask to Varadraj, because Goshtipurna was such a great devotee that he would talk to Varadraj. And you can imagine such a devotee. And he would fan Varadraj, and then while fanning, he would also speak to Varadraj. Very beautiful Leela. So then Goshtipurna said, okay, I will ask this to Varadraj Swami, Lord. So next day when he asked Varadraj, my Lord, what happens to a devotee if he remembers you throughout his life, but is not able to remember you at the time of death? And what was Varadraj's reply? He said, if the devotee is not able to remember me at the time of death, I will remember him. I will remember. He may not be able to remember me. Devotee may pass away in any of the unpredictable ways. Some devotee goes in coma. Some devotee may die in a car accident, plane accident, heart attack. Are these deaths very unusual? No, very usual. They're very usual. So What if a devotee is not able to remember the Lord? The Lord will remember. So this is Kritam Smara, this aspect, where a devotee is saying that, my dear Lord, whatever service I have rendered, maybe because of this gruesome material nature, if I am not able to remember you at the time of death, although I wish to, I don't want to forget you. I absolutely want to remember you all the time. Smartavyam Saratam Vishnu Vismartavyo Na Jatuche. सर्वे विधि निषेधा ही एतस्य येव किंकरा. सारे के सारे नियम ना दो ही नियमों के दास है. एतस्यो एतस्यो यो हो, इन दोनों के ही एव है, उसमें एवकार किंकरा. तो दो नियमों के ही सारे नियम दास है. क्या है वो दो नियम? स्मर्तव्यम सततम विष्णु. विष्णु भगवान को हमेशा स्मरण करना चाहिए. विस्मर्तव्यो न जातो. और उन भगवान का कभी भी विस्मरण नहीं होना चाहिए. ये दो नियम जो है ना, ये सबसे प्रमुख. बाकी सारे नियम इनके किंकर है, इनके दास है. हम जो भी कर रहे हैं ना, सदाचार, एटिकेट्स, श्रवणम कीर्तनम विष्णु स्मरण, एवरीथिंग इज फॉर दिस पर्पस. So a devotee, obviously, through all his service, everything, he wants to remember Krishna. He doesn't want to do it mechanically. But if a devotee, because of the stroke of the material nature, if he's not able to remember, he's praying to the Lord, my dear Lord, you may please remember whatever little bit service I have rendered. Vedanta Deshikan says in the commentary to this verse that he is saying, devotee is saying, my Lord, you make it perfect. My service is not perfect. You make it perfect. If you just touch, by your touch, by your glance, everything will become perfect. So it's not a prayer to ask something which we don't deserve. Sometimes we can't afford something, right? You want to purchase a Mercedes, but you don't have a money. So you pray, oh, wish if this Mercedes company could give me one car just like that, meaning with very minimal price, just in some. Sometimes people win like that, right? So is this a prayer where we are asking something very lofty without paying the proper price? Is it like that? So the point is, we can never pay the proper price. We can never pray. What we are going to get Sri Krishna's love, no? Sri Krishna's abode, Goloka, we can never pay the proper price for it. It is so exalted thing. It is such a great destination that हम ऐसे बोल ही नहीं सकते कि हाँ ठीक है, मैंने भी अच्छी कीमत दे के आया, proper price I have paid. No, you just can't pay the price. It is that exalted a destination. Our efforts will be fraught with so many faults. It's a limited service to Krishna. Krishna is being served by the best of devotees. Still, he is ready to reciprocate with our small effort. So, with that sense, this devotee is praying actually that, my dear Lord, please remember this and make my effort perfect, my Lord. It is imperfect. I know it is imperfect, but you make it perfect by your glance, by Krishna's glance, by Krishna's touch. Everything becomes perfect. So that's why he is saying Krato Smara, Kratam Smara in this particular way. So you see, this is it's a very beautiful prayer actually, which is talking about this aspect. All right, so let's go through the themes. Uh, Material body is a foreign dress that must be given up. Prabhupada says, the best way to give up the body is by surrender to the Lord, not by going to the Brahmajyoti. These are the familiar themes. The importance of the last thought. Here we will discuss something. Krishna never forgets our service to him. Krishna's mercy is ever available through devotional service. Bhagavatam itself elaborates this verse, this aspect. Prepare for death by devotional practice. So it's a long verse, long purport, but the point is that the themes are familiar. So let's see them. So you see, the temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress, so nothing much to discuss on that. Various kinds of bodies, hawk body or tiger's body, accordingly, as the desires are, accordingly the body is given, like that. So here, devotee's prayer is being analyzed now. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, which will be turned to ashes, and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. The living being's activities are performed within the body through the movements of different kinds of air, known as the prana vayu. So Prabhupada is speaking about that aspect. So that prana vayu actually controls the soul also. You know, this whole process, we'll talk about this in Gita, the whole process of Kundalini, the Shat Chakras, what do? They raise the life air. And by raising the life air, the soul's position gets raised. So soul, instead of living through lower holes of the body, it lives through the upper holes of the body. So it can live through mouth or nose or eyes. But the greatest is Brahmarandra, directly on the top of the head. If the soul leaves from there, then the soul achieves the desired destination. That's the process of Kundalini Yoga or Shat Chakra Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, basically. That's the process. So Pranavayu controls that movement. But that's a mechanical process of raising the soul's position. Uh, the actual surrender process does not need you to practice all these mechanical things. Here, if you develop love for Krishna, then one can attain the highest abode of Krishna. Without knowing all these Shat Chakras and all these things, none of these things are needed. So, this is that Bhakti process is that particular thing. Bhakti process is the process of surrender. So that's the theme Prabhupada takes up. According to the Bhagavad Gita, the most perfect man surrenders unto the Lord after many, many lifetimes of culturing knowledge. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So this is the point. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvam viti sa mahatma sudutta. This is the thing. So prayers, that's the characteristic of bhakti process. That's why Prabhupada brings up this theme of surrender. ज्ञानी लोग करते हैं क्या प्रार्थना? क्या प्रार्थना करते हैं? करते भी है तो that's not the core of their process. They might pray when they are doing some basic chanting or something, but that's not a process of prayerful attitude. Same way yoga, that's not a process of prayerful attitude. Bhakti is the process of prayerful attitude. And it's the process of Sharanagati. That's why so many prayers. Bhagavatam is full of prayers. And Acharyas have written so many prayers. Some prarthanatmika prayer, Dainya Bodhika, Lalasamai, three kinds of prayers. Glorifying the Lord, expressing one's fallen condition, expressing the cherished desire of the heart. So you see, it's full of prayers actually. So we should memorize these prayers. And we should recite them. Our life is very filled with fraught with so many difficulties in material world. So if you remain focused on Krishna, then you will not be influenced by these difficulties. Otherwise, the mundane sound vibration is so prominent, you won't remain impervious. You will be influenced by it. If you are taking so much inside, you are reciting verses, you are memorizing verses, prayers, beautiful golden statements from purport. So you must. They say, बड़ा मस्त भक्त है. He is into his own, glorification of Supreme Lord, and very happy, and that kind of thing. So that's the process of bhakti. Prayerful attitude is the heart, and that's why Prabhupada brings up surrender theme again and again, and because this is process of bhakti. You don't talk about Sharanagati in Jnana. It's not there. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshasyati vishwaso bhuktrutve varanam yatha. All these aspects, they're talked about bhakti. Bhakti is the process. You don't talk about them in yoga. You don't talk about them in jnana. No. So that's how it is. And they have their own process, but I'm saying Sharanagati aspect. And that's not there so much. They accept the Supreme Lord. They have great respect for him, but they don't have that sort of prayerful and intensely uh, uh, depending on Krishna's mercy, that kind of. But that's the glory of bhakti process, and that's why Krishna also takes interest in bhakti. Because devotee takes interest in Krishna, Krishna takes interest in devotee. Because jnanis, yogis, they don't take interest in Krishna, so Krishna also doesn't take much interest in. He leaves them on their own. Okay, I have given the process, you follow it, you achieve it. No problem. Vishwamitra, 3 times he fell down. Why? Because he is demonstrating that process of jnana and yoga. One time he fell because of lust, Menaka. Another time he fell because of anger, Rambha. Third time he fell because of pride, Trishanku. 3 different anarthas he fell. Finally, he took to the process of bhakti. And then he became Brahmarshi, the great Vishwamitra, the sage Vishwamitra. He became the Brahmarshi of Vishwamitra. So that's the point actually. That's why Prabhupada brings up these themes of Sharanagati here. Like in this mantra, the living entity prays to enter the spiritual kingdom of Lord. After relinquishing his material body and material air, the devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death, can see Prabhupada telling that, with full consciousness of his past deeds and of the ultimate goal. So devotee knows this, that yes, this is my final exam, and Shri Krishna is my only hope, because otherwise death experience can be extremely deadly, that one may forget Krishna. That's why Kulashekar prays like that. Idam shariram parinama peshanam. No, not that one. The other one. Krishna tvadiya pada pankaja panjarantam adyeva me vishatumana saraja hamsa prana prayana samaye bhavata pittaihi kantavarodhan vidho smaranam kutaste. He says that I don't know what will happen at the time of death, because cough in my body and it comes in the throat. One is not able to speak, and the air they go haywire. So many problems at the time. So he says that today my mind is peaceful and my body is very healthy. My Lord, today itself let me be able to achieve your abode. So he's praying like that. Do you understand the spirit of the prayer? The spirit of the prayer is one understands that how difficult it is to remember the Lord at the time of death. So that's why devotee is making the prayer. And he wants that Krishna helps him, Krishna remembers him, so that he will be able to attain the association of his devotees, the association of his lotus. This way. The devotees develop a sense of love for God by practicing devotional service of the Lord. Even if at the time of death a devotee does not remember his service of the Lord does not forget him. This Prabhupada is writing everything so nicely. This prayer is given to remind the Lord of the devotee's sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget the service rendered by his devotee. What a statement. even if there is no such reminder. A devotee out of his own, humble nature, humble in the sense, his feeling of dependence, he may pray. But Prabhupada is saying, even if there is no reminder like that, will the Lord not remember whatever sacrifices the devotee has done? Even in material world, people remember the sacrifice done by someone. Here we are talking about the most beautiful, the most virtuous, uh, samasta kalyana guna nidhi, the abode of the most wonderful qualities. That Krishna will not remember our sacrifice. How is it possible? Uh, he is such a merciful Lord. He remembers every small thing done to him. So if somebody has sincerely tried to follow regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna, serve the devotees, we have to be assured that Krishna will certainly bestow his mercy. He will never forget. He will never ever forget the devotee's service. Not like that. Prabhupada says in one place, very nice. Prabhupada says that imagine all the struggle as a devotee that you take, right? Like all of you are staying in there in Kanaya Desh. And it's not like open bhakti. Of course, the bhakti standard there is extremely jubilant. I mean, I spoke to Prabhuji also, Gaj Prakash, that I was amazed. I was enthralled by the standard of bhakti, such enthusiasm, such eagerness to hear, such eagerness to serve. It was like ecstatic. But then it has its own challenges also, right? You can't go out on Sankirtan, you can't openly distribute books, you can't have any government officials or leaders take up the bhakti or like that. It's difficult, it has its challenges. India has their own challenges where people think that they are devotees. Everybody feels that I'm a devotee, but although they may not be practicing. So all the challenges, Prabhupada says in one place that when you take up all these challenges in bhakti and then finally you achieve abode of Krishna, Krishna will fold his hands and say, thank you for all the sacrifices that you have made. And Prabhupada says that that one word from Krishna where he's thanking, that's it, that's it, that's it's worth. It's worth. Actually, Krishna doesn't have to thank us. Why should he thank us? We should thank him. Thank you for accepting us. But the point is, that's how Krishna is. He is like so wonderful. He loves so much. Little bit service you render is so grateful. The worldly people are so opposite. But Krishna is like that. So if you have led a life of sacrifice for him throughout your life, so when he accepts in the end, how much grateful he will be. Kritam smara, and literally Kritam janati sah kritagnya. So Krishna is kritagnya. Krishna never forgets what we have rendered service to him. So whenever we go through difficulties in life, sacrifices in life, don't ever feel that, well, I don't know who is seeing it. Why am I struggling so much? I'm not sure. There is one person who is recognizing every single sacrifice that you have done, and that is Sri Krishna. He will not forget him, and he knows every single sacrifice. Some other devotees may know it, they may not know it. But Krishna knows everything, and he will remember everything. He will be very grateful. That's his nature. He doesn't have to be grateful, but he is grateful. He is like that only. That's why he is so much lovable, isn't it? That's his personality. This way. So that's the point actually of the bhakti process. And that's why this devotee is saying, Kritam smara, you please remember what I have done. So he's telling Krishna to be grateful. You don't have to tell Krishna to be grateful. Uh, Krishna is grateful and we are grateful. Krishna is grateful and we are grateful. F-double-O-L, like that. So this is it. Krishna does not forget the service. So we may sometimes have to struggle, but we go on with faith that yes, most of the times spiritual master devotees it's themselves recognize our sacrifice. But even if it sometimes it happens that they don't recognize the sacrifice or some misunderstanding happens, no worries. There's one person who will never misunderstand you. That is Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He knows your intentions very clearly, and he will accept those intentions. He will accept you with those intentions and give whatever you deserve this way. So Prabhupada brings up the discussion even on this aspect of suduracharo. huh? Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito he said. So bhakti process is such that even if somebody commits an abominable mistake, Krishna still forgives and accepts that devotee. Provided, this verse will be discussed in great details in Gita, so we can discuss there. But the most important thing here is this mistake should be accidental mistake. If we are knowingly committed some sin again and again, then that is not good. Then it's not a sadhu. Such person is not a sadhu. Akasmik patam, that Sridhar Swami says, if if somebody by mistake accidentally falls down, does something abominable, and then reforms and reinstates, then you can call him a sadhu. But if one continues to do that mistake again and again, knowingly, then one is not considered a sadhu. It's not a good thing. Devotee is not like that. So that sudurachar aspect, although Krishna is very much ready to forgive, we should know that I cannot do it knowingly. I cannot do it again and again also. We have to learn a lesson and reinstate ourselves. Otherwise, then it will become aparad, right? Where we are trying to beg forgiveness and again do aparad, again beg forgiveness, like the seventh offense, like that. So this is it. Krishna's mercy is available through devotional service. That devotional service Prabhupada describes as bhakti of 9 different processes, and the examples of 9 processes like Maharaj Parikshit, Shukdev, they are described by Prabhupada further. So he's describing bhakti process further because bhakti is that process which is the process of achieving Krishna. He also connects this verse to Srimad Bhagavatam, where we talk about what is the duty of a dying man. So how does then Shukdev answer? What's the duty of a dying man? He says, Tasmad Bharat Sarvatma Bhagwan Ishvaro Parihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. The duty is that Hari should be remembered, Hari should be glorified, Hari should be heard. This is the duty of a dying man. So that's why the devotee here is also asking Krishna that even if I forget, you please bless me that I remember you. You remember me and force your remembrance in my heart, my Lord. Because that's it. That's the duty of a dying man. So Prabhupada very nicely connects this to Bhagavatam also. So we can discuss a lot on that, but I think it will suffice to say here that this is how the Smaranam aspect is glorified here. It's not a selfish prayer, but it's a prayer where the expression of one's own feeble nature and also Krishna's unlimitedly merciful nature, Krishna's seeing that positive aspect, only the bright side, that's the glory of this prayer. So it's a wonderful prayer. And that brings us to the last mantra, mantra 18. Agne Naya Supatha Sman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhyasma Juhuranam Yeno Bhuishtam Te Nama Uktim Vidhema. Okay. Okay, here we come to the last verse. Please read the translation. We'll stop. Yes. Please read the translation.
O my Lord, you are powerful as fire. O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I have doing in the past, please free free me from the reactions to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you,
Hare
Prabhu. Yes, so this is the last prayer in which the devotee says that, my Lord, whatever obstacles are there because of my sins, of my aparadhas, please you remove those obstacles and accept me in your service. Right? The last prayer was about uh, enforcing Lord's remembrance within our heart. So the devotee is praying, Lord, that you please remember. Uh, and here he is praying that please, whatever obstacles are there in remembering you, whatever obstacles are caused because of my sins or because of my aparadhas, my Lord, please forgive me and please protect me from those and bless me that there will be no hindrance to my progress towards your lotus feet. That's the final thing. So Prabhupada speaks about how obstacles on spiritual path originate, achieving perfection, what is the gradual way and the quick way, and finally how the omnipotent Lord guides the devotee. So that's the thing. So why do the obstacles come on the path of bhakti? They come because of sins or they come because of aparadhas. Especially when we take up to devotional service, even the sins turn into aparadhas. Oftentimes the sins will be disobedience of Guru's instructions. So they turn into aparadhas. So aparadhas are dangerous than the sins also. Uh, Aparadhas, Krishna punishes if you do too many aparadhas. Um, Krishna may forgive sins, but he will not forgive aparadhas. So we might have committed some sinful activities before coming to bhakti. But once we take up to devotional service, once we take initiation, then we should be very much on guard against the aparadhas, because the offenses will cause a lot of obstacles on the path of bhakti. And one will lose the taste of bhakti. Um, if you were getting a great taste in bhakti and if you're losing it, it's all becoming dry. Oftentimes it's because of aparadhas, because we are committing offenses. So we should find out where am I doing wrong? What's going wrong? Why am I not getting that natural taste like how I was getting before this way? So the point is that offenses take away the taste. And the material objects start becoming more attractive then. So those material attachments which we have previously conquered, which we have sort of transcended, they start becoming more attractive. So this is typically a result of offense, you can see, because of taking things casually. So one can be alert on these things. Why am I again developing the same attachment? I was able to overcome those attachments. Why am I going back? Am I committing offenses? So all different sorts of offenses, Vaishnava, Namapara, like that. One can, and I'm speaking this to myself also. I'm not I'm speaking like some big person. I'm myself also a struggling sadhaka, and I'm speaking when I speak these things. So then it's also preaching to myself. So that's how. So finally, here the address to Lord is like Agne. Agne is the address. So Lord is addressed as fire because he can burn anything to ashes, including the sins of the conditioned souls. Prabhupada is saying. Because he can burn everything to ashes. So he is compared to fire. So Prabhupada speaks that there is this karma, there is vikarma, karma, the jnana, yoga, bhakti, and this progress we have seen before also, right? Vikarma, karma, and akarma we have seen. But akarma basically means all these paths like jnana, yoga, bhakti, and all that. So we'll talk about that in Bhagavad Gita. No worries. But Prabhupada speaks about there is gradual way of perfection and quick way of perfection. So what is gradual way of perfection? Where one goes through this karma, And then from karma, one goes to dhyana, dhyana, one goes to yoga, like that. This is ladder. But if you take an elevator, then you can go directly on the topmost rung, which is bhakti. This way. So we don't want to take the gradual path. We want to take the elevator. We want to take the lift and go directly in the highest rung, which is bhakti. This way. Otherwise, these gradual paths are also there. They give gradual purification. But why to take that path when the direct path of bhakti is available? So we see that yoga bhrashtas Prabhupada speaks, the yogis, once, if they, I mean, all these paths like yoga and all, if you perform something and if you could not achieve perfection, then in the next slide, we are allowed to continue on that path. But especially in the path of bhakti, Krishna arranges a very favorable birth also. One Suchinam Shrimatam Guru. One may achieve aristocratic or birth like Brahmin family. Or Athva Yoginam Kule Bhavati Dhimatam. Or Krishna may give birth directly in a devotee family. So these opportunities are there in the process of bhakti. We see that. So we don't have to accept the path of karma kand, jnana kand, and all that. We accept the path of bhakti. One who surrenders at the very beginning, as recommended in this mantra, at once surpasses all preliminary stages simply by adopting devotional attitude. That's the theme over here. So all these things you will learn in Gita very detailed. Jnana, karma, yoga, bhakti. So this Prabhupada is towards the end, he's sort of giving you a trailer of these topics, because the next one after Shruti is Smriti, Bhagavad Gita, like that. So we'll study there in great details. How the Lord guides the devotee, because he is within the heart of the devotee. So from within the heart, he gives the direction by which a devotee can attain the Lord. Sometimes a devotee may not be very intelligent, so to say, from the intellectual ability kind of. But Krishna is within the heart, so he may give such guidance to that devotee that that devotee can make great progress. Krishna is there within the heart, right? And he will destroy all the darkness. Nashayami Atma Bhavastu. Jnana Deepayan Bhasvara. Krishna says, I, with torchlight of knowledge, I will destroy all the darkness in a devotee's heart. Chitta Madagata Prana Bodhyanta Parasparam. And those who come together and pray to Krishna or discuss Krishna Katha like that, Krishna within the heart, he will purify such a devotee, he will give great nourishment. So sometimes in our life, the guidance may not be available, but still, if we remain sincere, remember this, you may be in a situation where the guidance may not be available, or very less guidance is available. You may want to take guidance on many matters, but you may get very less time of your teacher or of your mentor, or you may be in a position only where there is not much association. But at least if we remain sincere within the heart, Krishna will give direction. But how I should execute it, what I should do, what I should focus on. Krishna will give that guidance, provided we are sincere in the heart. Are we? So this we have to question. Am I trying to run away from Krishna? Am I trying to run away from the devotees? Or am I trying to, no, my heart is very genuine. I want to serve Krishna. I don't want to run away from devotees. But I have this priority for now. And that sort of situation may be there. So finally, the matter is of sincerity within. Krishna is there within the heart. In no way we are saying that the personal guidance of devotees can be compromised. We can never do that. Bhakti is always under the guidance of the senior devotees. But what I'm saying is, by unfortunate conditions, if we are in a position where we are not able to seek that guidance much, if we remain sincere, Krishna will also give some wisdom within that how I can execute bhakti nicely so that I can make progress. So this is Sri Krishna's nature actually. Shanvatam Svakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Pradhyantasto Habadrani Vidhumati Suritsevan. He's sitting in our heart. He will cleanse our heart, provided we do Shravanam, Kirtanam, and all with sincerity. In this mantra of Upanishad, the devotee prays to the Lord to rectify him from within his heart. To err is human. So we might have committed so many sins, so many mistakes. So the devotee is praying, my Lord, please forgive my brothers, please forgive my sins. These sins will become obstacles. Krishna, please clear these sins, my Lord. Please clear these sins. I don't want any obstacle on the path to attain you. So please, my Lord, please help me to avoid these pitfalls. So that's the gist of this particular prayer. The whole process of bhakti is by taking shelter of spiritual master. That same Supreme Lord to us in a tangible manner, he appears in the form of uh, you know, external guru. Of course, guru is a jiva, he is a living entity, but he is an empowered personality, isn't it? And he is sakshad haritvena samasta shastra. So if we take that guidance, if we take the guidance of sadhus, and if we take the guidance of the guru, sadhu, shastra, that's the perfect recipe for making advancement in spiritual life. Once we are purified by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, then the Lord will reveal within the heart also. Initially, we should not rely so much on, oh, this is inspiration of Lord within my heart. It may be inspiration of the mind, not the heart. So in our conditioned stage, we are not able to distinguish whether my mind is speaking this or my heart is speaking, because mind is a non-devotee still. So that's why we check with Guru Sadhu Shastra. And as we make progress in bhakti, as we go ahead, then Krishna will start giving indication within the heart also. Because he is very eager that we are guided. So taking Guru Sadhu Shastra shelter, we practice the process of bhakti. That's the perfect recipe. So let's pray that we all also take from the spirit of prayers, and we also take the process of bhakti. We secure ourselves in the shelter of Guru Sadhu Shastra and the senior Vaishnavas, so that Krishna will also accept whatever our paltry offering at the end of our life. Krishna is ready to accept. Yes, you have tried your best, so I will do the rest. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Shopanishad, the knowledge that brings one nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upanishad, that which brings you near to the Lord. So if this knowledge has brought all of you slightly, very fractionally also near to the Supreme Lord, I think our effort of studying Sri Shopanishad would be a very, very great success. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shopanishad ki jai. Samasta Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Yathay Gaur Premanande. Thank you all very much, Prabhus. Thank you. Thank you for your patient listening. Just 3 hours or more than that, non-stop. So as I said, I'm very, very grateful for your patient listening. Probably we could have done this even in more elaborate manner, but we wanted to finish. So I stretched a bit, but then I'm happy that we are completing it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद Prabhuji.
Thank you.
And,
All right. So, yeah. Should we stop here, Prabhu, then?
yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. We have taken so much time of yours, Prabhu, and we are feeling very sorry.
No
Actually,
problem.
it's very late there.
No
We can
problem.
understand, Prabhuji. So
Yeah.
we are very grateful to you,
That's what I
Prabhu.
said, but sometimes, yeah, sometimes I have to extend for some batches, for some US batch also. But that's okay. I'll compensate during the daytime tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, Prabhu, we'll be in touch with you, and maybe, as you mentioned last time, we can plan exam next week, next Friday, Prabhuji.
We can plan, no problem. All
Okay, Prabhu.
It's just that the timing will be in the night,
Timing will be
or will
in
it be in
the,
the
yes,
day?
evening time only.
This time,
Yeah, Friday will be
9:30
Prabhu around
p.m.
7, 9:30. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So that should be okay, 9:30 to 11. Because anyway, I'll send the question paper. I'll have the coordinator send the question paper. And how do we want to do it? You want to do it as with invigilation, right? We are not doing it online.
Yes. Yes, yes. Normally, Prabhu, what we do actually, we fix one menu here, and all devotee can come there, and we'll give the paper, question paper to them, and some devotee will be there, so they can monitor and they can collect the answer sheet, and then we can send you the answer sheet later
No
on.
problem. It can be.
Or
I wish
sometime,
you all, I wish you all the best for the exam. It will be very easy, so no worries. Yes, bro.
thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And Prabhu, same thing
So,
with the shloka also. Shloka also we can do, right, Prabhu? Shloka test also.
yeah, you can do shloka also. I think only two shlokas, right?
Two shlokas, yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So, whoever is taking shloka test, Prabhu, you can give marks out of 10. Every shloka has
Yes.
10 marks. So, 5 for translation, 5 for the verse.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. And
Fine, Prabhu.
exam is very clear, 50 marks exam, 1.5 hours question paper, 1.5 hours time duration. So it's all from, look at the handbook, it's all from that short answer questions, that section. So only prepare that section, and of course you can prepare purports by your time, whatever time you have available. That's it. Okay. So the coordinator, Prabhu, should he connect with you only or someone else for question paper and all?
Yes, Prabhu.
I
They can
won't
send.
handle that.
Yes. So just you can pass me the number, Prabhu. I'll be in touch with him.
So fine, fine. Thank you. Hare
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Jai Shri.
Prabhuji. So we'll extend our gratitude by
Srila
taking
Prabhupada
the
ki
Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Krpa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bless Prabhu. Thank you so much for organizing this class.